Commissioner Jones is not here yet, but he's walking in. Goody. We'll wait till he gets here.
Oh, wow. And didn't break a sweat. Wow, that's awesome.
Well, it's getting cold out
It is cold.
there. I called for
Good morning, everyone.
This is February
You don't-
5th, 2015, morning docket of the Baltimore City, Florida Liquor License Commissioner. The first item is David Carrillo and Emma Simolis, Mexican Food Inc., trade name is La Tolteca, at 2324-32 Boston Street, a Class B, beer, wine, and liquor, application, and this is a new application of the transfer of ownership.
Transfer.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Smirnudis just got out of the hospital, I think, 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And Mr. Kraus is also a member, is also on the license.
Okay.
So he's here in his place.
Okay,
Mr.
This is
Kraus?
Mr. David Carrillo.
and you're gonna enter your appearance?
Yes, sir. John Pica, John A. Pica
That's
Jr., on behalf of Mexican Foods.
Do we have any
David
testimony, or are you gonna present on
Cole
behalf?
Crawford, yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, first I'd like to, we sent these documents down yesterday. There's 4 copies, there are 4 copies of each binder. And with your permission, Mr. Chairman, I'll just briefly describe each. You're right. Okay. One for each member and one for executive secretary. So if I could just go through the document, there was one addition.
You want us to introduce this as evidence?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
mark it, Exhibit 1, go ahead.
So there are 18 tabs in here, and they were all the different requirements of the liquor board, articles of incorporation, certificate of good standing.
Why don't you just go to the things that are pertinent for this hearing?
Okay, all right. So this is a transfer at the same location, so I want to talk about. Mr.
Any
Carrillo.
opposition?
No, sir. I have a letter of
Any
support.
changes? The license the same?
Yes, yes.
You're not asking for anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So Mr. Carrillo operates 7 other restaurants, all family restaurants. They're all called, almost all of them are called La Tolteca. There's one in Aberdeen, 2 in Bel Air, 1 in Cockeysville. There's a Plaza Tolteca in California, Maryland, a Guadalajara restaurant in York, Pennsylvania, and Tacos Tolteca in Dundalk. So this would be the 7th restaurant in Maryland that he will operate, he owns. His father owns several other Mexican restaurants. So in terms of Mr. Carrillo's fitness for the application for him as an individual, he has given his fingerprints, which is an exhibit in these tabs. He has no criminal record. He's operated restaurants and been in the business since he was under 10 years old. This particular location has been closed for at least 90 days. So in terms of public convenience and accommodation, we're going to be occupying a building that's vacant. There's no opposition from the neighborhood. There is a letter from the community, from the Canton Community Association. And one of the gentlemen who was attending the meeting was here when we went and made a presentation. So the letter from the Community Association is Exhibit 12, and there are only 2 businesses in that block, 2 main businesses. There's actually a small insurance agency. The insurance agency the gentleman owns the ground next to the Canton Market, and there's a letter in Exhibit 13 from his next door neighbor.
Are you in
supporting-
Canton Square? Is this located in Canton?
No, sir. It's only a 2,300 block.
Well, that's 7 blocks from Broadway.
I'll take your word for that, yeah.
Six blocks.
Yeah, it's right across the North Shore project, right where Alisana comes into Boston, go up a block and a half. And it's between Wagner Street and I think Chester, I believe.
Yes.
Between
Okay.
Wagner and
It's a
Chester.
little closer to Broadway.
Yeah. There are no zoning issues. He's applied for all his permits, which are all in this exhibit binder. His manager has an alcohol awareness certificate, and he has a certificate himself. I have a copy of the floor plan if you'd like to see it, Mr. Chairman.
I'll leave it up to my fellow commissioners if they wish to inquire about it.
have nothing further. In terms of convenience and accommodation, there's no opposition from the neighbors, and no, sorry. And I would move for the adoption of the, favorable adoption of the transfer.
Any questions, commissioners?
None.
Just for clarity's sake, this license is being transferred from whom? To whom?
From, well, the company that owns it is Maramoo, but it's, A Horse with No Name is the name of the business. At 2324 Boston Street, and there'll be a transfer to Mr. Carrillo. Carrillo.
One at a time, guys. You can't
Sorry.
talk.
Yeah, and
I don't even have this gentleman's name.
council,
I-
wait,
I know your name, but
if you,
I didn't get
let
his
let
name
me
when
just
he's
speak
been
with your
talking.
attorney, and then have you answer the questions for right now. The gentleman to your immediate left, that is Mr. Carrillo.
Correct.
And then the gentleman to his left is,
Richard Kraus, Kraus. Mr. Kraus is on the license that is being transferred.
and so, from Kraus to Carrillo. Right, and when was this license last used?
I believe it was in, earlier than the fall, summertime, if I can ask. It was,
That's
one
right.
extension has been granted?
And we have to swear the witnesses, swear the witnesses.
Raise your right hands, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
We did the hardship
Okay, so we did a hardship extension.
on October 16th.
Okay, and I have a note that the transfer of ownership was completed December 10, 2014?
That's the date that they submitted their
Okay,
application. So that's,
okay.
that's where, that's how
Okay.
they met their timelines, is because they submitted their new application with information by December, because the hardship would expire within, by December.
Okay, so, all right, so there's no issue as to the viability of the license, that's where I'm headed. Okay, well, based on these, the information,
Yeah.
there's no issue, so, okay, that's the only question I had, or series I had.
Any other that's it. All right, time for decision. I vote yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Do you have our decision?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I just want to show you what I have. This says transfer of ownership completed on December 10. And it should say application for, because I'm very little on it, it's just,
No, he don't need it.
okay. It's everybody.
Tell me when you're ready.
Okay. Now, is this one that's postponed?
Yes, and I'm gonna read it. to you.
Okay.
Call the next case.
I'm just gonna read into the record that number 2, Christopher Nwazi and Masuba Satu, CNG Group, Poshmix, has been postponed and will be brought back to the chair, the board in a different format, so that item has been moved. The next item that I have is Tiguris Dalfla and Alameen Desta, that is Danny's Convenience Store. This is a beer and wine LLC, at 2327 Pennsylvania Avenue, a Class D license, and this is an application for transfer of ownership.
And who's going to speak?
One person.
All right, swear the witnesses.
Raise your right hands, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
All right, both licensees here? Who's who?
I'm the licensees
You're the licensee?
yes.
And you're transferring to whom?
To Zaganham.
All right, and your name, sir?
My name is Daniel Tesfaye, Danael. Last name Tesfaye.
All right, and your name, sir?
Sakar Christos Danfla?
And you're going to receive the license?
Yeah, I'm going to send
All
the
right, now
license.
who will speak on behalf of the two of you? Tell us what it's all about. You?
Yes.
All right, go ahead, sir. Tell us what you're doing.
I'm the owner of the license, the Danny's Convenience Store, and the business is still operating, and I'm going to transfer to them. It's located on 2320,
2327?
27 Pennsylvania Avenue. Um,
And tell us about your experience and his experience.
I had before I used to work limo company. I have my own companies.
But you're giving up the license.
Yes, I'm giving
So
up
what
the
is his
license.
experience?
His experience is he goes to schools and he's doing this part-time. And him, he used to work in a store.
And your name, sir?
Almaya Desta.
And what will you do in the new license?
We're gonna be doing the same thing, basically.
Both of you,
Yeah,
which is?
The selling beer and wine and grocery store.
grocery store.
Is there any opposition? Is anybody opposed to doing what you're doing? All right, questions, commissioners?
On the application, I just had trouble reading the address for Almaya Testa. Could you just give us your full address?
3500 14th Street Northwest, apartment number 12.
So you live in Northwest
I live in Washington, DC, yeah.
Okay, so you live not far from where I grew up, which is Shepherd Park in Washington, DC. Yeah. Upper 16th Street, near Silver Spring.
Yeah,
So,
Talk
anyway,
louder. Come on
yeah,
up to the
yeah, yeah,
microphone.
come on.
sir.
So our Baltimore resident would be then Mr. Dafla,
Yes, ma'am.
and your address is what?
1703 West Lombard Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 21223.
All righty, I think that's it.
All right, any other questions? None? I vote yes.
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 All right, you have our decision. We've granted it.
All right, thank you. Just step down here.
Tell us when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Call the case.
In the case of Atlanta Farnsworth LC Inc., Taylor's East, I'm asking for this to be postponed because there's an issue with with our service to the licensee, and we will bring this back to you on a future agenda. The last item,
Wait a minute, where'd you go?
that's the one I put it, because there was an issue with the letter that went to the licensee.
I can't hear you.
There's an issue with the letter that was sent to the licensee.
So in other words, we have not had a proper notification,
That is correct, sir.
therefore it has to be postponed.
Yes, sir.
And when will the new date be?
Sir, I believe to give myself enough time, it'll be 2/26, so on February the 26th.
Okay? And your name, sir?
For the record, Melvin J. Kadensky. I represented the people who had asked for it, but they weren't notified, and gave all the information.
It's 1201 North Potomac.
Okay, case postponed to February 26th. Failure to notify.
Next case.
All right, sir. Excuse.
I can.
No, he's gonna be up for the last one, I believe. The last case is Michael Equibag, Tekle Zimical, M&T Food Mart LLC. Trade name is M&T Liquor and Food Mart. This is at 2002-04 East Oliver Street. This is a Class A, beer, wine, and liquor. This is a request to reopen after being closed for more than 90 days.
For the record, Melvin J. Kadensky, 19 Days Fast, representing the licensees. This was a situation in which the licensees have been there probably since 2004. They were in the process of selling it to a group, the fellow's name was Willibus, who was in there and created a havoc with the neighborhood. So they had to get the place back from Mr. Willibus's family, and then as a result of which they filed a petition to reopen. It was filed a long time ago, and I'm not saying it was sort of lost in the process, and there were people from the neighborhood who were in opposition to this. I'm not going to be perfectly honest with the board. These individuals that are here had not had any problem with the neighborhood. They had the problem with the Willibus people.
The problem with what?
Willibus. They were I always call them the flying Willibuses, so it sounds better. But they had all
Let me
these.
ask you a question.
Hmm?
The request to reopen was on June 15th, 2013.
Mhm.
And the board, Mr. Fogelman, at that time postponed it. Is that correct?
It was postponed more than once, I'm sure, in order for them to get people were here from the community for and against it, and also to get petitions, which they did do. And then for a while there, the last time it was probably 5 or 6 months ago, and it sort of got,
Yeah, but let me go back.
Yeah.
June 15th. What was the status of the license on June 15th, 2013? Was there a license?
it was valid that time, yes. I think that.
I would say that the applications had been filed for the license, but the renewals had not been paid. And that's what we're noting, is that the renewals have not been paid for this license since 2012. So that we continue to receive applications for renewals, but those renewals have not been paid because they were not operating.
So the license it has no status.
Well, you had this petition was pending to reopen, and the board just didn't finish the hearing. So that was the question.
Okay, questions, commissioners?
When was this license last used?
Probably sometimes in 13.
The last renewal that we have on file is in 2012.
And it
Or it
expired.
was in 2013,
Right. Mhm.
correct.
So it would have expired,
As of April 30th, 2013.
my challenge is I don't see how this license is still viable.
Well, it was viable at the time they filed a petition to reopen. They had just never had a hearing for various reasons before the board.
But the postponements were requested by the licensees.
And also by Councilman Stokes.
He didn't ask for a postponement, he asked that there not be renewal.
Well, there was a meeting with Councilman Stokes to schedule it, so I talked to Councilman Stokes
And
about it.
he says that he's strongly, vehemently opposed to reopening because, and I think in your, I think there was a transcript that says that there was a request to meet with the, postpone so they could meet with the community, and you weren't even saying that they would agree with the community, but they wanted the opportunity to meet with the community. And then there was a MOU that was presented from the community to the licensees, which they refused to sign.
I don't think so.
And that's what Councilman Stokes was responding to, saying, look, there've been problems. The community presented a memorandum of understanding that they wanted the licensees to sign. The licensees refused to sign it. And for those reasons, he vehemently opposes these licensees being allowed to reopen. And then there were, we have a letter from July 24, 2013, where the Community Development Committee of the New Broadway East Community Association states that they submitted a letter saying they were not in support of this establishment. So I think it's,
Well, I mean, if I just go back, if you have a copy of the MOU, I'd like to see it.
oh, I don't have the
No, we've
MOU.
never submitted an MOU.
Would you think Councilman Stokes is misrepresenting when he says that they were presented an MOU and that they,
Remember now, things how they happen, I don't know. I know Councilman Stokes for 40 years. I
Well-
wouldn't say he did, he didn't, but I know, I talked to Councilman Stokes about it because there was a lot of people from the community that were here in favor of it. And he was there talking to one faction, and that's the reason why he was agreeing to let them see whether they could try to solve the problem, because what he was saying is, my job as a councilman is to represent the entire community, not just one group of the community. And I said to him, I agree with you. They've been there just a period of time. The problem they were having were with the people of the Willibuses, not with these two individuals.
Councilman Stokes' letter is dated January 9, 2014.
Mhm.
And there's nothing since then, and there's no response to the letter, so I take it as accurate. But here's the issue. The issue is the license even valid? And my view is that it is not.
Well, that may be a legal issue, is going to go up on appeal if that's what you do. I'm saying that since as long as there was a matter pending before the board,
Well, let me ask my fellow commissioner a question. The fact that Mr. Fogelman, the chairman of the board at that time, postponed it, did that change the status? In other words, that was a board decision.
Well, it was requested by the licensee.
The license,
They requested it postponed. That's why he asked Councilman Stokes, did he agree? And they all agreed. That's why he granted the postponement.
So there's no decision.
None that
You
I
were
can
there.
see. I mean, I don't remember the case, but I'm just reading the documentation from here.
So, commissioners, what do you say? You want to run it through it again?
so here's what I have, Mr. Kadinsky, and correct me where I'm wrong. The license was last renewed in 2012. It expired April 30, 2013. What I don't know is when in 2013 or 2012 this business stopped operating.
Well, since it would have been April 30th of 20.
No. When did they,
When
when
you're
was
saying
this?
no, you're asking me, and I'm trying to give you an answer.
Okay, and I'm arguing back with you.
But I mean, I wasn't there. All I know is that the license was valid till April 30th and wasn't until after that, until we got the people out of there. So I can say that till that time they were in there. But
When did they get the people out of there?
shortly after the license renewal time. So if you look in the file, you'll see there was a couple of hearings for the people that were in there, were operating on a Sunday, and they were operating on days they weren't supposed to. In fact, you had your chief inspector went down there at the time. We had sent them down, so to try to get them out, because they had gone, getting in, and we couldn't get them out. And that was, that family was on 4 or 5 licenses. They were on Orms Road, they were on a whole bunch of them, and the executive secretary knows that they would put their sisters and their mothers on these licenses, and we're trying to get them out. So as far as I know, the last time was in April, end of April 2013.
Like we would do in any other case, why don't we reflect on our records to see what we have in our records and let the executive secretary give us a status on the life of that license? I mean, that's the easiest way to do it.
I'm happy to do that, but here's the challenge. The license expired April 30, 2013. June 15, 2013, there's a application to reopen after being closed for more than 90 days. So I think what I want to know is what happened before June 15, 2013. And if it was, because clearly it was closed for more than 90 days at that point. You're saying that it was valid and used up to April 30, but if that's the truth, I mean, if that's accurate, then why file for an application to reopen after being closed for more than 90 days? It's inconsistent.
I mean, you have to look at
Yeah, and I
the
think,
records.
I mean,
don't
we will do
think
that.
You had a violation hearing shortly before that. Let me see if I can tell you when, because I didn't do the violation hearing.
August.
What?
August of 2012, we did a violation hearing.
August what?
2012.
August 30th, 2012 was the date of the hearing. And in that hearing, they were found not guilty. It was a charge for Article 2B, 201, so that transporting, that they bought license, I'm sorry, the liquor inspector was able to purchase alcoholic beverages on the 2012 license placed on deposit being operated by applicant. It's it's a comptroller charge.
Well, I'm not ready to do anything other than, I need more information before I can vote as to whether this can be reopened or not. I want to know all the dates. And so I would ask that this be postponed so that that can be done. It doesn't look to me like this is a valid license, and
So, you know, if it's postponed, again, the board is asking for the postponement, and that's why I'm doing the same thing. But I mean, I'm not arguing with you, we're just talking.
Yeah.
right.
Well,
Well,
I'm inclined to grant the request by my fellow commissioners. Both of them apparently agree. We'll postpone it. I think we have to get these dates right, and also we have the issue of what the decision of Mr. Fogelman, what effect did it have. Of course, all licenses end on the 30th of June, 2013, so it would automatically expire at that time. And of course, it would have to be renewed by this board.
And I'd also like to hear from the community.
Well, I mean, if they're,
You know, it's a
I don't know
very,
why they're not here. I mean, I don't know.
yeah.
Okay,
All right,
that's what
so-
you want?
Yes,
And I'm-
yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's what
I'm
you
in
want.
agreement.
Okay, postpone, give us a date. You're going to need a complete research of the records.
Do it after that, you got 26, you got a bunch, what's the next one after that?
March 5th would be 1 month.
Yeah, something happened on March 5th, I should remember. It's
It's
okay.
a Thursday.
March 5th.
Is it your birthday?
Postpone it.
When March 25th is?
I don't know what's being said.
March
Can you start
25th?
over on the last little bit? I totally didn't get any of it.
You all should know what March 25th is.
What's that?
My goodness. It's Maryland Day. And it's the Feast of the Annunciation, and more importantly than all, it was my mother's birthday. So,
I postponed to the 5th of March, 2015, in the morning.
and I'll sit
And,
down with you and we'll see what we can
So
put
you
together,
two will have to,
put a chronology together.
And I want to do my own if that's okay.
Everyone is gone.
Right.
all right, folks, postpone.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
This completes our docket for this morning, I believe.
Thank you all.
1 o'clock.
Thanks for running over here.
I did too, that's splendid, the last 5 miles, I forgot that part.
The last 5 miles. Can I do that now? Maybe since we're done, I just, this is, I'll maybe go in the back
Really
room
running
and,
my mouth talking to
side room.
someone and forgot what time it was.
oh, is that what happened?
Yes, I did, I owe you all an apology.
I brought my lunch today, actually. Wait.
You brought your lunch today?
Yeah, I did. You didn't, did you?
I did, I was gonna take all of you after lunch.
Oh, look at him.
We're gonna start.
I might want to hear
I
this
need to know. It just amazes me the things that people do. You know, I think I've lived a very sheltered life.
It goes on, believe me. But also what it happens,
Oh,
it comes to an interesting end. Come on, folks. Are we? Okay.
Come on, Mel, you hold the progress off.
What day you have as the first case? Yeah. 500.
So, you know that
All set?
that was added.
Are you all set? Call the first case.
Good afternoon. This is the 1 o'clock hearing of the Board of Liquor License Commissioners. The first case is Guion Wolf and Patrick Min, ACA Liquors, Inc. This is Eric 500 North Avenue, BD7, a violation of Rule 401A minors from December 17th, 2014.
Call your case, let's go.
Yes. Good morning, Your Honors. Edward Smith Jr., appearing on behalf of the licensee. I have a preliminary statement to make.
And we'll have that after, in the order in which I call for it.
Yes,
We're
sir.
gonna have first the presentation of the facts, and then we'll get to you, and whatever you wanna do.
Your Honor. It has to do with the facts.
I understand,
Going forward.
open door, when you get to you, we're gonna go the way I decide.
Yes, that is certainly correct. There would be an objection to the proceeding in that manner based on my filing in case number 24C 1500547, which is a mandamus and an injunctive relief against this board, which was filed on February 3rd, 2015, and is impending before the Circuit Court of Baltimore City.
Call your case.
Your Honor, I just want to inform the board, I have Detective Greenhill present. He just informed me that the cadet is walking up to the room now, so I can call the case and I can call Detective Greenhill, and once the cadet walks in, I can do that, but I just don't have the cadet right now.
Go ahead.
Okay. And also Tom Sakris, on behalf of the Baltimore City Liquor Board. Calling first Detective Greenhill, and if I could use a microphone.
here.
You don't forget to elicit your violation.
Yes.
Yes, I'm fine.
And this is the sole count of violation of Rule 4.01 minors. Can you please state your name and duty assignment for the record?
Detective L.C. Greenhill, SES Vice.
And how long when you say SES Vice, whom do you work for?
I work for the Vice Unit. Is a division within the police department.
Objection.
You have a continuing objection,
Thank you.
Of Baltimore City?
Your Honor,
Yes.
do you wish me to state the basis of the objection?
if you wish.
Yes, that's the only way I can preserve it for the record. We are objecting to any testimony elicited by the Assistant Executive Director for the BLLC. We base that on Maryland Rule 12, I'm sorry, Maryland Rule 16.812 and the citations contained in the memoranda in support of injunctive relief and mandamus action filed in the Circuit Court of Baltimore City. Thank you.
Overruled, and I'll let you repeat it when we get to your defense.
Yes, Your Honor, if I don't say it, of course, I miss it, and I wanted just to make
No,
sure.
but I said when we get to your defense, you can,
Oh, that's not a defense, Your Honor, that's just.
whatever you
Yes,
want to do.
certainly.
Your Honor, if I could you please ask to swear all the witnesses?
Swear the witnesses.
Objection.
Have a continuing objection.
Yes, Your Honor, state the basis. My client cannot speak or understand English. Thank you.
Swear the witnesses.
Raise your right hands, guys. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. Now, Detective Greenhill, you just stated that you work for the Baltimore City Police Department. How long have you worked for the Baltimore City Police Department?
19 years, sir.
And you stated you're assigned currently to the Vice Unit. What is it that you do in the Vice Unit?
In the Vice Unit, we basically perform compliance checks of all liquor establishments. In addition, we conduct sometime investigations dealing with underage buyers in the city. We also deal with the gambling portion of it, where you have some of these establishments that have poker machines. We deal with the gambling investigation as well.
And how many years have you been assigned to the Vice Unit?
13 years.
13 years. And in that time period, how many of these investigations in regards to liquor establishments have you done?
I would say at least more than a dozen.
More than just...
Well, I would say at least 100. If I had to give a number, at least 100 investigations.
Okay. All right. Now, calling your attention to December 17th, 2014 at approximately 9:10 p.m., did you happen to have the opportunity to visit an establishment called Eric 500, which is located at 500 East North Avenue?
That's correct.
In what city and state is that located in?
Baltimore City, state of Maryland.
Now, what was the purpose of you visiting this establishment?
To conduct a underage buy investigation.
What's an underage buy investigation?
Basically, when we send an underage person, in this case a cadet, inside of an establishment to see if he or she will buy alcohol.
And who, if you were working that night with the cadet, who was the cadet working with you?
The cadet was standing to my left is Cadet Jones.
And what was Cadet Jones's assignment that night as per your orders?
His assignment was to, while in a undercover capacity, was to go in and see if he could purchase alcohol from the clerk that was working.
Okay. And in preparation for this attempted purchase, what, if anything, did you do?
The only thing that he was instructed to do was
Objection. The question was, what did he do? I believe that it has to get an unresponsive answer.
Oh, this is a commission hearing, a board hearing.
Seeing you brings back old times is why I made the objection.
Don't tell everybody our age.
They know already, Judge.
Uh-oh.
If I may ask it again, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
What, if anything, did you do to prepare Cadet Jones for this investigation?
All I did was to advise Cadet Jones to go inside if he could make a purchase.
Okay. Did you perform any search of his person prior to him going inside the establishment?
Not right then and there. We did before we left the office, just to make sure he didn't have any other items on him, i.e. a wallet, any keys, anything like that. We did provide him with departmental money, a $20 bill.
And how was what, if anything, was unusual about the $20 bill?
Nothing unusual. The only thing we did was just do a photocopy of the bill for our records. That way, if he did make the buy, we could go in and recover the bill without problems.
Okay. And so when you searched him back at the station, what, if any, kind of alcohol did he have on him?
He had no alcohol on him.
Okay. And in between the time when you left the station and when you arrived at Eric 500, was Cadet Jones within your view?
Yes.
Okay. And so upon arriving at the establishment, what, if anything, did you instruct Cadet Jones to do?
Once I pulled up, pulled up and advised him to see if he could make a purchase.
Okay. After you told him that, what, if anything, did you observe?
The only thing I observed was him exit the vehicle and go inside the store. Once he went inside the store, he was out of my view.
Now, where were you parked?
I was parked on the Greenmount side, which is the, of the bar.
Approximately how far away were you from the entrance of the bar where you were parked?
No more than, I would say a foot.
A foot from the bar?
Yeah, the bar sits on the corner of North Avenue and Greenmount.
Mhm.
And as I pulled up on the side of Greenmount. But I was
Were you
still-
driving the vehicle?
Yes.
Okay.
But like I said, I would say no more than, about a foot.
Okay.
From the bar entrance.
Okay. And did you observe the cadet enter the establishment?
Yes, once he entered, then he was out of my view.
How long was it before the cadet exited the establishment?
I would say 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay. And after the cadet exited the establishment, what, if anything, happened next?
Once he exited, I could see where he had a black plastic bag in his hand.
And when he had the black plastic bag in his hand, when you made that observation, what, if anything, did you observe next?
From there, just once he has a black plastic bag in his hand, that's our indication that he made a buy. We then exited vehicles and entered the establishment.
Did you happen to inspect the plastic bag before you entered the establishment?
No.
Okay. When, if at all, did you inspect the plastic bag?
Once we went inside and observed what he had purchased.
Okay. And did, when you were inside and he opened the plastic bag, what, if anything, did you observe?
I would have to refresh my memory from the.
Your Honor, if I may I show a document to Detective Greenhill so that he can refresh his recollection? This is the copy of the report. I believe I've faxed this to you.
You did, counsel. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Objection. As to any conclusions in the report, which will be introduced into evidence, as to the content of anything that was inside of a black plastic bag.
Okay. And this is just for the refreshment of his recollection, Your Honor. Oh, sorry. Okay, thank you. I'm just going to ask you to take a look at that document, and when you're done looking at that document, you can turn it face down. I may have some questions to ask you. Now, if you, to the best of your recollection...
Excuse me, Your Honor, has that document been marked as an exhibit? And what is it, so I can refer to it? Well, until he can get it into evidence, should be no testimony from it, which is why I object.
If, to refresh the officer's recollection, I can show him a plate of pasta. If it reminds him of whatever it is that he cannot recall, I can do that, Your Honor.
We're not in a restaurant. We're in a quasi-judicial tribunal, which requires certain rules of evidence to be looked at, and that is, first of all, to have the document marked so we can refer to it.
First of all, it's not true what you just said, but in any event, I'll be glad to mark it just to clear up the...
The record needs to be clear, Your Honor.
Absolutely. Mark it.
Okay, Your Honor, this will be...
Not for evidence, but as an exhibit for the purpose of reflection or whatever it is you want to do.
Okay, I'll just make a note down here on a star and just say purposes...
Just mark it for identification
I did.
purposes only as an exhibit number, whatever you would like it to be.
Not a problem. And I may introduce this later as evidence.
Make sure you decide that when you get to it.
Thank you. So after, this is exhibit number 1. For identification purposes, after reviewing the document, what, if you can recall, what, if anything, did you observe in the bag that Cadet Jones was holding?
It was basically the alcohol beverage that he had just purchased, which was the Peach Amsterdam, the vodka.
Objection. Calls for a conclusion that he is not competent to make.
Was the, do you recall if it was a can or bottle?
Bottle.
And was it open or was it closed?
Closed.
Okay, now upon making that observation, what, if anything, did you do?
From there, just asked Cadet Jones, who was the one that provided the purchase for him.
Now, what, if anything, did Cadet Jones tell you?
Basically, he gave
Objection.
And if, okay, go ahead.
He gave a description of the person that was behind the bar, that was behind the plexiglass portion of the bar.
And after he identified that individual, what, if anything, did you do?
From that point on, I proceeded to let the person know behind the bar that we were police and we were in our raid vest with badge displayed, everything, and to let him know that we needed to come back in the back to perform an investigation.
Now, you said raid vest. Can you explain that to the board?
Basically, when I go out and do my investigations, I basically wear, of course, my badge with my ID displayed, but I also have a raid vest that has police written on the front of it, has equipment in it such as my radio, ammo.
The vest itself.
The vest itself.
And about how big are the letters for police?
Very big in white letters, bold.
And was your badge prominently displayed at the time?
Yes, always.
Okay. And were you with any other officers at the time?
I was with Detective Gatto. I was with Detective Akawande. That was also there on the investigation.
And do you see those gentlemen here today?
Yes, the gentleman sitting in the back to my left.
And how were they dressed, to the best of your recollection?
The best of my recollection, they were dressed the same way, raid vest, also such as same as myself.
Badges prominently displayed?
Badges displayed with the, of course, the big bold police in white letter.
Okay. Now, after you had identified yourself as police to the individual who Cadet Jones had identified as the individual who sold him the alcohol, what, if anything, did you do?
As for continuing objection to alcohol, Your Honor. Thank you.
What, if anything, did you do?
From there, we just proceeded to the rear of the location and advised the person who just, I believe in this case, happened to be the licensee, that he had sold alcohol to an underage minor. From that point on, we just did our investigation where we list the information from the liquor license and retrieve our departmental $20 bill and then take a photo with the cadet itself.
Did you happen to provide the change back to the owner bar manager that he provided to Cadet Jones after the purchase?
Yes.
Okay. Now, after this incident occurred, you went back to the police station. Did you happen to write a report?
Yes, I did.
Now I'm showing you what's been marked as exhibit number 1 for evidence purposes. For identification purposes, what, if anything, am I holding in my hand?
You're holding my police report.
And you authored this report, correct?
Yes.
All right. And in this report, what, if anything, does it discuss?
Basically discuss the events that occurred on that particular evening.
Okay. Going to move this into evidence, Your Honor.
You've already seen it?
And objected to it, yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mark it, exhibit 1.
Currently, I have no further questions for this witness.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Detective Greenhill?
Yes.
Okay, great. Detective, I think you've indicated to the members of the board that you've been doing gambling investigations as well as liquor establishment investigations for 13 years?
Yes.
Okay. Let me ask you something. How many investigations have you made of the Horseshoe Casino?
Objection. Sustained.
Yes. All right. How many investigations have you made of the Horseshoe Casino?
Objection. Sustained.
How many investigations have you made of the Ravens Stadium?
Objection. Sustained.
How many investigations have you made of the Oreo Stadium?
Objection. Sustained.
How many investigations have you made of Korean establishments during that time, if you know?
Objection. Sustained.
And, sir, do you see the individual here today who you viewed on the day that you were in the establishment over on Green Mountain North Avenue?
Yes.
Where is he?
The person you're referring to the person that made the purchase?
Well, you didn't see the purchase. I'm asking
No,
you
I
the
didn't
person
see the
who
purchase.
Yes, that's correct. I'm asking you, when you went inside, do you see the individual here who was inside of the establishment?
If the only person I know is the licensee, do I recognize him? No, I don't. I don't recognize him.
Well, give me the name of the licensee. Give me the full name of the licensee.
So I had to refer to my report.
Well, refer to it. If that would refresh your recollection.
The employee would be
I asked you for the licensee, sir, not the employee.
All right. Homesick Park is what I have in my report.
And that's the person who you saw when you were inside of the establishment with the trainee?
After he made the purchase and came out, yes.
Okay. And I think you said that police officer trainee Jones pointed this individual out to you?
Yes.
All right. Did you ask that individual any questions?
I basically advised him what he had just sold. He sold alcohol to a underage person.
I asked you if you asked him any questions, not what you said to him.
No.
All right. And did he say anything to you?
No.
So you don't know if he could speak English, Korean, Swazi, or anything else, did you? Because you didn't talk to him. Is that correct?
No. Well,
did you speak in English?
yes, I speak English. And
Do you
the
speak Korean?
No.
Objection.
It's already been answered.
All right. Now, sir, let me ask you something. You seized the material in the black bag?
There was no seizure of it. Just it was purchased by the cadet, and then I.
Did you have it in your possession as a police officer during the time when you arrived in the premises at any time?
Yes, I did.
All right. And let me ask you something, sir. Counsel has already asked you if you opened that bottle. Is that correct?
But the bottle was closed.
I asked you.
I did not, objection, I did not actually ask that. I asked if it was the bottle open or closed. That's what I asked. I didn't ask if the detective opened that bottle.
Did you open the bottle?
No.
Did you in any way have the bottle analyzed?
No.
Are you familiar with the police laboratory that?
Objection.
Are you familiar?
Let him finish the question.
Okay.
Are you familiar? Do you have a police laboratory in Baltimore City Police Department?
Yes,
Objection.
Do you have access
Wait a
to?
minute.
He asked the question.
And we gotta let him finish completely, though, so that I can hear all of it.
Okay.
All right, and now now understand the question. So the rule. You can answer.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Do you have access to laboratory facilities to analyze any suspected items of alcohol, to your knowledge, at the Baltimore City Police Lab?
No.
Do you have access to the state police laboratories?
No.
Do you know whether or not any of those laboratories have any facility to evaluate liquid materials which are suspected to be alcohol?
I know the state has a laboratory.
All right. And so you are aware of that as a result of your training?
That's correct.
Have you ever produced or submitted any suspected alcoholic beverage to that state laboratory?
Yes, sir.
And on how many occasions have you done that?
I would say in my 13 years, at least a dozen.
And for what purpose did you submit these things for evaluation?
Usually in those type of cases, I submit suspected alcohol when we are called to investigate an after-hour location, and that's a location that's not licensed by the Baltimore City Liquor Board.
All right. So you did know on that day that you had the wherewithal to get an evaluation if you asked for one. Is that correct?
If there was a need for one.
Well, I'm asking you not if there was a need. I'm asking you if you had the ability to submit it.
Oh, yes, we have the ability to submit it.
Okay. And you did not do so in this case. Is that correct?
There was no need.
You did not do so in this case.
No,
Is that
sir.
correct?
Gotta let him, first of all, gotta let him ask the question, and you gotta let him answer
Yes.
calmly.
You did not submit it on this day in
No,
this
sir.
case. Is that not correct?
No, sir.
Thank you. I'd like to thank you, Detective Greenhill, for your testimony.
Thank you, sir.
Call your next witness.
Just one quick question. You didn't submit it, correct?
That's correct, I did not.
And would you have submitted it in a case like this with a minor buy?
Objection.
I think it's sustained. Immaterial.
Immaterial? Just responding to his cross. No further questions, Your Honor.
Call your next witness.
I'm calling Cadet Jones, Your Honor. Could you please state your name for the record?
Ken Jones.
First name.
Ken Jones. Yes.
Ken, who are you employed with?
Baltimore City Police Department,
How long have you been employed at Baltimore City Police Department?
1 year.
And what is it that you do at the Baltimore City Police Department?
Administrative work,
can't understand your testimony.
administrative work. Administrative work,
And part of your administrative work, do you work with the vice unit?
yes, sir.
And what do you do with the vice unit?
I go into alcohol establishments and try to buy alcohol.
Now, how old are you?
19 years old,
When were you born?
June 15, 1995.
Okay. And as part of this work with the vice unit, what is your role?
To go into an alcohol establishment with a $20 bill and try to buy alcohol as an underage adult.
Okay. And do you recall the date, December 17th, 2014, approximately 9:10 p.m.?
Yes.
And did you have the opportunity to go to an establishment called Eric 500, located at 500 East North Avenue in Baltimore City, Maryland?
Yes, sir.
And what, if anything, was your assignment that evening?
My assignment was to go into Eric 500 and buy a Peach Amsterdam bottle of alcohol, underage.
Objection. Your Honor, asked for a continuing objection to any reference to alcohol. Thank you.
You have a continuing objection.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And after receiving your orders, after arriving at the scene, and pulling up with Detective Greenhill, what, if anything, did you do?
Bought the alcohol.
Your Honor, I know I have a continuing objection on the same basis as to, yes, thank you, Your Honor.
Went into the establishment, bought the alcohol, and walked out.
Okay, when you say bought the alcohol, can you just walk through the steps of what you did to buy the alcohol?
Walked up to the counter, asked for a Peach Amsterdam, put the 20 inside of gave it to the clerk. The clerk bagged it up, gave me the change. I walked out the store, signaled the crew that I was with that I had the alcohol with the black plastic bag, and we walked inside, back inside.
Now, when you entered the establishment, what, if anything, did you ask the clerk for?
A pint of Peach Amsterdam.
And what, if anything, did the clerk ask you?
Nothing.
What, based on your observations, what did the clerk do?
He took my money. He told me the change. He told me how much it cost. He took my money, bagged up the alcohol, gave me the change, and I walked back out the store.
At any time, did anyone inside the store ask you for your identification?
No, sir.
At any time, did anyone inside the store ask you how old you were?
No, sir.
And before you went into the establishment, did you have any alcohol in your person?
No, sir.
Okay. And after you left the establishment, you said you signaled the crew that you were with?
Yes, sir.
And then what happened next?
I walked outside. I signaled them. We walked inside. We told the clerk that we had to get in the back to show him that he sold alcohol to an underage adult.
Okay. And did you point out this individual?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And afterwards, after the officers cited the particular establishment, what, if anything, happened afterwards?
Can you repeat the question, sir? I'm sorry.
Sorry. After you finished this investigation, did you leave the scene?
Yes.
Okay. No further questions.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Cadet. It's customary to say good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay. Cadet, when you received the item, did you ask the clerk any questions?
No, sir.
And when you took the item into your hand and you signaled the team, did you open the item?
No, sir.
Did you smell the item?
No, sir.
When you were finished, that was the last that you saw of the item, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And let me just ask you a couple of questions because counsel asked you about what you do, and you indicated that you go into alcohol establishments and you try to buy, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. How many such attempts to buy have you made over you said that you had been employed for about a year?
Yes, sir.
How many have you made?
Attempts over 20.
20? And have any of them been at any one of the stadiums, the Oriole Stadium?
Objection.
Or the, what is that, the football stadium, the Raven Stadium?
No, sir.
Objection.
Sustained.
Wait.
Okay. Have any of them been at the Charleston Restaurant or any of the nice eating establishments downtown?
Objection.
Sustained.
Have any of them been over in Roland Park or in,
Roland Park.
yes, Roland Park, Your Honor, Mount Washington? Oh, yeah, plenty down in Roland Park. Petite Louis.
You go.
Oh, yes, yes, indeed. That's where my wife takes me. How about, have you been in any of those establishments that may sell alcohol?
Objection.
Sustained.
Let me ask you something. Of the attempts that you have made, have they been in virtually inner city areas where Koreans own the establishments?
Objection.
Sustained.
All right. I'd like to thank you very much, Cadet.
Any other witnesses?
No other witnesses,
Now,
Your Honor.
Commissioner questions only on the issue of evidence with respect to the decision to be forthcoming. Any questions, Commissioners, on evidence only?
Yes. I would just like to inquire, what is Amsterdam Peach? What type of alcohol is that? It's a vodka.
Objection.
It's a vodka.
This witness is, oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Either one. You could even answer. You probably might have even had it.
I think you're trying to say something about my religion, Your Honor. Only baptismal water, Your Honor.
Talk about religion or politics, and there's one other thing
I
wanna talk
understand,
about,
Your
but
Honor.
I just need to know, Amsterdam Peach is a vodka,
Yes, ma'am.
and your understanding is that he received a bottle of vodka, the top was closed, and it was not opened.
That's correct.
And if you go to a liquor store and you buy a bottle of vodka, it is vodka.
Objection.
It's presumed to be vodka.
So wait a minute, I got it.
And if it's not vodka, and, I mean, we got other problems, correct?
You do.
Yeah. All right, just, the point is, he went in, he asked for a bottle of New Amsterdam Peach vodka. He was given a bottle of New Amsterdam Peach vodka. And this is a product that's controlled by the state of Maryland, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all, the only question I had.
I just have one small one. If anyone can answer this one. When you went into the establishment, either you or the police officers, when you communicated what you wanted to buy, was there a translator standing by to tell anyone what to do, or did the person you spoke to understood and went and went and got the merchandise that you asked for?
In all due respect, I would object to the Commissioner's question, and I do believe I have a right to object to questions on the record which may tend to obviously be irrelevant, immaterial, or in any other evidentiary means be objectionable, and I do object. But I
Overruled, you
understand.
may answer.
Yes, sir. The clerk understood what I wanted because he picked up the bottle and asked me.
Thank you.
No other questions, guys? All right, now, on the issue of innocence, your case, sir.
Your Honor, since my client can't understand anything, I have no case to present.
So your case is closed.
My case was never open. As you know, I filed an ex parte injunction, which the courts have not ruled upon.
Yes, but now is your time to argue it.
To argue the ex parte?
Anything you want, sir.
Okay.
As an attorney for your client.
All right, very well. Your Honor, thank you very much for the opportunity to be heard. Your attorney has been provided with a copy of a circuit court filing in this case under case number, excuse me, I'm sorry, case number 24C 15000547, which was filed on February the 3rd with attachments that requested that this commission be enjoined based on the constitutional grounds stated therein on the verified complaint from proceeding in this case. Of course, I've already named each of you in the petition for permanent ex parte injunction as well as preliminary injunction and mandamus action, raising the various points in that document. Your attorney has copies of it and was provided and was served with that document. In addition, a copy of the transcript of this proceeding dated January 29th, 2015 was appended thereto as Exhibit D with Exhibits A, B, C, and D, and a memoranda in support of the injunctive relief and mandamus which was filed before the court. The court has these documents, has not at this juncture moved to give us a screening or a preliminary before Judge DePietro, who I understand is the judge who would hear such motions. And I sent your attorney last night early this morning at 12:10, Alice Pendahughes Esquire, and again at 8:23 p.m. last night this morning, a message indicating that we would respectfully request that the chairman not hold this hearing until the court rules. Of course, the court has already done so, and on the constitutional basis and on the basis of the rules of court, which we raised, equal protection, due process, and also the attorney's rules of professional conduct, which are in the papers. Since we've done that, and nothing has been waived, and Your Honor made the statements that he made concerning whether or not my client should understand English and whether or not he should be sanctioned and his license revoked, and we do not have an interpreter, didn't intend to have one based on the constitutional issues involved, we are here. That aside, let me go to the merits of the case, because I think your attorney has all of the documents, and I've sufficiently preserved the record here. And any court that will take this matter up will notice that nothing has been waived and all has been said that could be without wasting any more of your time. But I do appreciate your forbearance in allowing me to say it. As to the case involved, and I understand where the commissioners are coming from with respect to whether or not it was alcohol that was in fact sold, the inferences from the acts. I would indicate to you, however, unlike inferences that can be drawn from certain actions, none of those can be attributed to the licensee. Because there has been, one, no identification of the licensee by anyone on that side of the room. There was an identification of someone who was a clerk who was not questioned as to whether or not he even worked in the establishment, which does not establish the fact that the licensee did any mala prohibita meaning prohibited act, which is before this board. And so I think there's a quantum leap in proof that is not on this record to indicate that the licensee, who you have called, did anything wrong. And of course, he cannot speak for himself since he cannot speak English. And so that is my first point. The second point is obvious, and that is, despite what occurred here, there is no indication that what was purchased was alcohol. Alcohol is a chemical component made of several components, which is a legal term requiring proof that it was in fact alcohol. Just as drugs would be, it would be required that they be shown not to be simulations, not to be faux pas drugs, but actual drugs. And they are qualified and they are subject to analysis. In this particular case, I think the detective indicated that he knows that the state laboratories are available and open to him to evaluate suspected alcohol. One of the tenets of at least this particular case in the elements is that you prove that it is in fact alcohol. And there's been no proof, no substantial proof. No one smelled it, opened it. If you paid for it, obviously one of the problems associated with paying for an item is that you can own it, you own it, you don't give back the change, you open it up, and police officers certainly are competent to testify about the smell of alcohol. They do it every day in drunk driving cases, under DUI cases. And consequently, when they do that, there is proof of alcohol. In this particular case, there's absolutely no proof that what was in that bottle was alcohol. Not only, one, there's no proof that the person who was in that store was connected to the licensee, and two, there's no proof that what was in that bottle was anything at all. One would assume, and I think that's where we go with the quantum leap of proof, is that if you have a bottle that says something, that it might be something that you believe that it is. But no one here, and the law requires at least a modicum of proof, I think it's preponderance of the evidence here. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just suspicion of the evidence here, which seems to be the case. And I would suggest that there is no evidence sufficient to show that that is what occurred. Your Honor, thank you very much, and that would be all that I would have to state.
Before I get to your arguments, I have a question. How come you only speak to Commissioner Dana Moore, not me? You all looked at her the whole time and didn't even give me a glance.
Well, Your Honor, obviously she's better looking
And
than
he didn't
you
give you a
are.
glance.
She glanced at me once.
That is such a loaded,
She glanced
you
at
don't
me
need to
once.
answer
No, I
that.
do.
You
She's
don't need to answer
easier on the eye, Your Honor.
Oh, on that I agree. I thought maybe you thought that the other two commissioners had already made up their mind.
Well, you did, I think, but I don't know about
But you're
Commissioner
guessing.
Jones. I tend not to look to my far right, understanding
But
that I'm
Commissioner Jones
probably
noticed the
on
same thing.
left.
Well, now, with respect to your argument, seriously, I'm going to go backwards. In this particular case, there's more than sufficient circumstantial evidence to show that the transaction was alcohol. First of all, we have the testimony of the officer and the other officer, and all of the facts which I adopt as I believe, and therefore I use them as the part of the reasoning of my conclusion that your client is responsible for serving a minor without asking him any identification with respect to age, nor the or anybody else in the place, though it's not clear if there anybody else was there. Now, with respect to the constitutional issues, every single state of the United States, all 50, and every single county and every single one of these 50 states all adopts the same principle with respect to alcohol, and that is that it's a privilege and not a right. There is no constitutional issue involved here whatsoever with respect to any issue that you have mentioned. First of all, the issues that you have before the Circuit Court of Baltimore City are not before this board. The only thing we have before this board is what you have said today, and which you raised these issues. Therefore, your motion with respect to that is denied. Thank you. And as I said before, I adopt all of the evidence as sufficiently circumstantial to show clearly that the alcohol that was provided the young cadet was alcohol. Now, the issue remains is punishment. What to do? And on that, I'm going to skip you, sir.
I was just, actually, there were some members from the community, if I may turn my back.
Yes.
And call up members
you
from the
may
community.
bring them up if they have any. Have they been sworn?
They have not been sworn, Your Honor. I knew that some were trickling in, Your Honor, so
All right.
if I may turn my back.
Tell them to come up.
If you,
May I object to this procedure?
Sure. And you have a continuing objection because we're going to hear them.
if you're a member of the
Yes,
community
yes.
and you would like to speak on this matter, gentlemen, can you please step aside right now? Please line up, form a line from here. And then
My controller at Morgan,
When
when I was
you-
president of student government.
Which one?
Wait, sorry, when you step to the mic, please identify yourself, spell your name,
I thought you went to Maryland.
either one.
I went to Maryland Law School.
Spell your name out, spell your name out so that the recorder can hear you.
Thank you.
And just make your statement in regards to this particular establishment.
All right, first, before we get to the community, I want to ask the record, what, if any, record do we have here?
Your Honor,
I
just to
see
let
we
you know.
have, on 9/18/2014, public welfare, 312, and illegal conduct. What was the background of that?
So they
Your Honor,
didn't-
may I
they
object,
They
please?
didn't have the, it's BD7, but they didn't have the tavern portion open.
Oh.
We heard this.
You agree with that, that the tavern portion was not open, that was that conviction?
That was the September.
Your Honor, let me, first I object to any former
Background?
bad acts But nevertheless, that is in the file, and I do acknowledge that.
Okay, so that was serving out of the packaged liquor store. Is that right? Only, and not the bar was not open?
There was a loitering issue as well for the public welfare, and I believe there was a sergeant from the Eastern that came in and testified in regards to that. That was September 18, 2014.
Is that the one where the police officer beat up the civilian?
No.
Oh.
No, it was not.
Oh, okay.
This has to do with public welfare. I think there was loitering in the vestibule, and they weren't using the BD7.
You have to overlook the
Correct.
witticism of
Correct, Your Honor.
counsel. All right, now the next thing, I'm on questioning. On the 2014, August 7th, a minor violation.
Correct, sale to a
Fine
minor.
of $16.25.
Correct.
And then a first minor violation, according to my records, on October 4th, 2012, a $500 fine.
Correct. That was a fine in lieu of a hearing, Your
All
Honor.
right, now before we get to the community and ask them what, if anything, they have to say, I want to ask you to have the officer return back to the stand for testimony.
Which officer, Your Honor?
Officer Greenhill.
Detective Greenhill?
Detective Greenhill's at the end of the.
Okay.
Detective Greenhill, you've already been sworn. Let me ask you to respond to your report, if that is your report on this incident, and the last paragraph. You got your report in front of you?
No, sir, I don't.
You stated in that report that you noticed various persons inside the foyer area. Is this the same incident we're testifying to today, or is this something else?
If it's listed in my report, then yes.
Well, go ahead and review your report. I want to ask you a question about it, with respect to punishment.
Okay.
Now, are we talking about the same day?
Yes, sir.
I see. So what did you observe there, in addition to what you've already testified to with respect to other patrons?
Basically, as we went inside the packaged good area, there were people standing around drinking and hanging around the area. They weren't attempting to buy anything. It looks as if they already had the alcohol and they were drinking inside the foyer area.
Now, if a person was on the street, would they have been able to see this?
Yes, they would. The door was open.
All right. Thank you. Do you have any questions you want to ask from counsel in view of that?
Do you know
On that issue only?
Yes, on your issue, Your
Yes.
Honor. Let me ask you something. Did you take any names of these individuals?
No, sir.
Did you seize anything from these individuals as they were in the vestibule?
No, sir.
Did you, at any time, determine from the person who was there whether or not he was in fear of these individuals?
Are you referring to the cadet?
I'm referring to any other person other than the cadet and yourself.
No, not that I know of.
All right.
Okay.
And were these individuals disorderly in any way?
Not to my knowledge, no.
And in your knowledge, were they inebriated or in any way disorderly to disrupt the people who were passing by outside of the building?
Not outside the building, no.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Detective. Now, the community. Come over, sir. Have you been sworn?
No, I have not.
All right. Would you swear all the witnesses at the bar?
Raise your right hands, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, sir. Identify yourself.
My name is Ben Lewis, and I live at 436 East Lafayette, which is south of, 1 block south of North Avenue. From my bedroom window, I can have a bird's eye view of the corner of North and Green Line, which I constantly, not a day goes by that I don't watch the circus that goes on that corner.
All right, sir. Do you have an opinion as to what this board should do with respect to this case?
Well, I think that this.
Objection.
Overruled.
I get a continuing objection, Your Honor.
Yes, you do. Absolutely.
I can't answer that question?
Yes. You can.
I think the establishment is a disruption to the community. It's rowdy up there. They have people standing around all the time.
I used to have a liquor license a long time ago, and I never could understand how you could serve liquor 7 days a week from 6 in the morning to 2 o'clock at night and don't have a restaurant or bar. I even went in there one time to see, I said, well, let me walk in there and see if they got a bar or something. And they don't have one. They stand there, and I grew up in the hood, in the city that is, so I know a little bit about crowds in front of a bar. I can't prove what I'm about to say, but I just witnessed. You got people standing out front, you got people going in there, coming out and exchanging things all the time. I don't know whether it's drugs, whether they're buying for younger people, because that's what when I grew up, that's what we did. We send people in the bar, or somebody older, they come out and buy liquor for younger people. So
No,
I
but let me,
suspect
sir,
that goes on.
I want you to ask you to confine yourself to this bar.
I'm talking about this bar.
Okay.
I suspect that kind of activity goes on in this bar. Then we have fights, just had a fight 2 weeks ago, right in the middle of Greenmount Avenue. The establishment, people standing in front of this store, came, they were young kids. I know they were young. I witnessed them. They got in a fight right in the middle of Greenmount. Now, my problem with the bar is, why can't they police the loitering that goes there on there constantly? They stand out in front, they drink, they stand out drinking, they stand inside drinking, and there's always this, look like a marketplace going on in front of it, and they're rowdy, and they create noise. And they walk up and down Greenmount, and they throw their miniatures on my property all the time.
And how close are you?
I'm 1 block away.
All right, questions, any?
Thank you very much. Yes, I do. Good afternoon, Mr. Lewis. You're from the hood?
Yes, I am.
Is that-
One in what street?
No, because you know I'm from the hood.
And I know that.
All right.
Do we need a translator for that?
When we were out there, we would have done better if we had one. All right, let me ask you a question, Mr. Lewis. So you're blaming the bar, and by the way, where did you have your liquor license?
I was at the D joint, remember them?
Oh, you mean up in
On-
Baltimore County?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Not in the hood.
No, they're not.
And that is certainly a ways away from this particular establishment, correct? The people who are standing outside getting into a fight, do you know whether or not they are related to the licensee or have been placed out there by the licensee?
Oh, no, they're loitering. No, I wouldn't think they would be related. They're just loitering in front.
And the licensee, do you know the licensee?
No, I don't.
Have you ever talked to the licensee?
No, I have not.
Have you ever expressed your concerns as you expressed it to this board with the licensee?
No, I have not.
All right. And, sir,
You indicated that there are fights and that there is loitering. Have you ever called the police in order to disperse these individuals?
No, I haven't called the police to disperse loitering. I would think that would the owners of the place should ask the people in front of their establishment. Yeah, more. Yes.
let me ask you something. Do you know if these people are any particular ethnic background who own this bar?
Oh, I know they were Koreans.
Do you know whether or not they are armed?
What,
Whether
the
they're
owners?
what?
Yeah, whether they're armed.
Oh, I don't know.
All right. And these individuals that you saw out in the street fighting, the violence, etc., you believe them to be people who are assaulted and dangerous?
To each other.
So the answer is yes?
Yeah.
No further questions.
Call your next, come over, ma'am. State your name,
My name is Lena Leone.
and you wish to say something about this
Yeah,
situation?
so I'm the president of the Greenmount West Community Association.
Mhm.
Been a resident for 10 years. I also am the chair of the safety committee. And we work,
You did what?
the chair of the safety committee
Mhm.
for Greenmount West.
I'd be glad to hear from you.
We work very closely with Eastern District on all matters. We've been trying to get Mr. An and Mr. Min to cooperate with the Eastern District in terms of cleaning up that corner. There's a lot of drug activity. There's a lot of loitering. It's the 5th busiest hub in the state of Maryland for the MTA. So there's a lot going on, and we've been trying to get them to cooperate with Eastern District to give them the IP address for their security cameras, both on the outside and the inside. there was a carjacking on, an attempted carjacking, right in front of the liquor store. It was on January 27th. Also yesterday, there were 2 students went to drop off their friend at the bus stop at Northern Greenmount, were followed from that corner, and were robbed of their cell phones. These are middle school students, and it was on the corner of East Lafayette and Guilford. So the kid was punched in the face.
Well, let me ask you, because I know Mr. Smith wants to know too, what, if anything, did the bar have to do with any of these incidents?
They contribute to the loitering. We've had reports.
How, ma'am? We as commissioners, we have to know
Okay,
where your facts
so
are coming from.
They sell liquor. These people go into the establishment, buy liquor, and hang out and loiter. And we've noticed
Do they drink outside?
they drink outside.
How often does this occur?
Every day.
Mhm.
And I was also wanted to ask what are their hours, and are they allowed to be open from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m.?
We'll look into that.
Okay.
Go ahead. So anything else?
So just the sale and consumption of drugs inside and on the outside.
Is this from hearsay or something you know about personally?
No, this is, we could, I mean.
You've heard?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now wait for questions, if any.
Okay.
Mr. Smith?
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Mr.
Mhm.
Dominic, you live on what street?
I live on Lafayette and Barclay.
I'll speak up. I'm
Smith,
sorry, Your Honor.
You got to back up for the
Yeah,
mic.
sure. I'm sorry. No, can you hear me, sir? You can hear me? All right. How often do you go to that location?
I don't go inside the location, but I walk by that location on a daily basis.
And how many times have you spoken to Mr. An?
Actually, 0, but that's something that I wanted to address, because if he is feeling threatened, he
You
can
answered my
come
question.
to the association.
Yeah. All right. Well, ma'am, let me ask
Courtesy.
you this, and I'm following up with what you just said. Are you aware of the fact that Mr. An has reached out to the association?
No, he has not reached out to the Greenmount West Community Association.
And who is the gentleman behind you? Do you know him?
Mr. Lowell Larson, he's a neighbor of mine.
And is he a part of your association?
He is not. He's the treasurer of the Greater Greenmount Community Association.
And how does that impact with your association?
How does what
Well,
impact?
is it an umbrella
No,
association?
it's not. It's 2 separate associations.
And do you know whether or not Mr. An has reached out to the gentleman behind you and their association?
Yes, they have discussed matters before.
Well, were you at the meeting in which Mr. An came to?
No,
Do you know whether or not Mr. An can speak English?
I do not.
Do you know whether or not Mr. An or anybody who works for him feels threatened by the people who hang out there?
I do not.
Did you or have you called the police at any time to disperse any persons which you believe are selling drugs or are in any way dangerous?
Absolutely.
And how many times have you done that?
Over the course of 10 years?
Yes, ma'am.
On that corner?
Yeah.
It's many.
And have the
Over
police-
100.
And have the police been effective in stopping it?
It's difficult.
Well, then it's difficult for Mr. An too, isn't it?
It is. But
Because they have
Mr.
weapons.
An has the option to come to the association. We have worked with another liquor store in our community to get that drug market off the corner. And it's been effective.
Well, the police, that's their job, isn't it?
No, it's the community's job as well. We work together with the liquor stores in addition to Eastern District.
It's not the police department's job to ensure that liquor establishments that have a privilege of dispensing liquor in the city of Baltimore to be responsible for their business operations.
I'm talking about drugs, not liquor.
Whether it's drugs or whatever. The police department has about 90,000 people per district to be responsible for. And it can't take a bar and turn it into a police department responsibility. Police departments have responsibility for all violations of the law. That's my ruling. That's what I've been telling the police department and our commissioners and our liquor inspectors. the purpose of the licensed group that I represented as chairman is to enforce the liquor laws of Baltimore City and the state of Maryland. Now, let's go on with the question. Huh?
You said represented.
Oh,
Has there been an announcement?
did I make a mistake?
That I didn't know about? Let me check my phone.
Turn me off.
All right.
All right,
Thank you very
any
much
other
for that
questions of this witness?
information, Your Honor.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
All right, now the commissioners, I'm going to ask you for questions individually on these people, if you have any.
Yes, just very quickly, you mentioned that the community associations have attempted to communicate with Mr. On about.
How does he spell his name?
Is it
A-N.
A-N? And is this Mr. On standing next to Mr. Smith?
I believe so, yes.
Do you have any specifics about what communications there have been between Mr. On and community associations?
So that would be with Greater Greenmount
Okay.
Community Association, which is Lowell's the treasurer
I
of
will
that.
wait. I will
Okay.
wait.
All right, come up, sir.
Oh, do-
Interrupt me.
No, I'm good.
Good afternoon. My name is Lowell Larson.
I'm going to, because of time, I'm going to confine you to 3 minutes, which I think is sufficient. Do you agree?
Sure, yeah.
3 minutes enough for you?
Could I have 5, sir?
I'll give you 3.
Thank you, sir, for 3.
Time. Go ahead, sir. Yeah, your name
Lowell Larson.
and your organization, if any?
I'm with Greater Greenmount Community Association.
And what do you have to say about punishment with respect to this establishment?
We have talked about the milieu of Greenmount Avenue and North Avenue, that corner, the problems with that corner. The problems are more than just at the liquor store, but the problems emanate from the liquor store. The best example I can give you of this is that in the fall of last year, September and October, when the liquor store was closed for 2 weeks, let me back up and talk about what it was like before it was closed. We have on our board a woman whose daughter, a high school student, uses that intersection every day to get to and from work, to and from school, to catch the bus. The bus she catches stops at North Avenue. It also stops at 25th Street and Greenmount Avenue. It's a limited bus. She has to catch the bus there, although she doesn't like it. And it's always a lot of commotion going on around that corner. The 2 weeks that it was closed, she came home one day from school and said, "Ma, the corner is wonderful. It's not the way it normally is." When the store resumed operation after being closed for 2 weeks, the commotion returned. Can we specifically identify it as coming from Eric 500? I don't know, but evidence seems to indicate. If I have time, I could give you specific instances of neighbors that I have talked to who have been in the store, who have been propositioned in the store for drugs, nickel and dime bags of weed, $5 and $10 bags of marijuana, of witnessing open containers, of witnessing. Thank you, sir. Of witnessing marijuana being sold. So there are lots of problems. You've heard that the New Greenmount West Community Association, which is south of this, can work with liquor store owners. We want to work with Mr. On and try and come up with a solution to all the problems in the corner.
All right, now I have a question before I ask the commissioners if they have any questions. What do you want us to do?
I am assuming, sir, that there may be a time in which the store cannot be open based upon the last. If that is so, when the store reopens, I do not want things to be business as usual. I would like the commission, if it's within the commission's power, to get all of these, get the people together, get Mr. On with an interpreter, with the community association, with the police department, so that we can do more than just slap him on the wrist. We can come up with a solution. There are multiple problems in the neighborhood. We need to work together to resolve them.
Questions?
No.
Questions?
Very quickly, Mr. Larson, have you had any communications with Eric 500 about the problems that the association and community have experienced?
I have had communication.
Okay, and can you tell us about those
I
communications?
would be glad to tell you.
Very, very succinctly.
Very succinctly. As Ms. Leone said, I am the treasurer of Greater Greenmount Community Association. We're the association that represents the neighborhood that Mr. On's liquor store is in. Mr. On has called me on a number of occasions, and I have met with him. Language has always been a barrier, but I have talked to interpreters over the telephone, and we have communicated. One of the things that Mr. On offered to do was to give the community association funds on a regular basis. When he made that offer, I told him that that was something that the board would need to consider.
And so you communicated with an interpreter. Did you provide the interpreter?
Mr. On had provided an
Okay.
interpreter.
And you don't happen to know the name of the interpreter, do you?
I talked to two different interpreters. One was Mr. Ham, and the other, I believe he gave his name as Ben.
Okay, but Mr. On provided the interpreter? Or they were on the phone?
He put me in touch with both of them, yes.
Okay.
I did not provide them.
Okay, were these in-person meetings or over the telephone?
One, when I talked to Mr. Ham, that was over the telephone. We were discussing, Ms. Leone talked about IP addresses. We were talking about IP addresses, and Mr. On put Mr. Ham on the telephone, and he and I spoke over the phone.
Okay,
Mr. Ben was in person,
Okay, and then.
or Ben was in.
And then you met with Mr. On in person?
I've met with
And
Mr. On in person 3 times, and he has come to our board meeting 1 time.
Okay, and when you met in person, it was Mr. On and then someone by the name of Ben?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
That's it?
Thank you.
All right, now the next witness, come over, sir.
Did you want me to say anything? to the
Did I
witness?
ignore you?
You did, Your Honor.
I'm sorry.
But that's all right.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Just briefly, Mr. Larson, I have your card here. Do you
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize it?
I do.
You and I and Mr. On had a chat when we left here?
That's correct.
All right. And your concerns were, as you have indicated to this board today, is that correct? Your concerns were similar to what you said to this board, without getting into great detail because we are pressed for time.
Without getting into greater detail, I would say that in general, the concerns were similar.
Okay. When you've spoken through an interpreter for Mr. On, do you know Korean?
I do not.
So you didn't know whether or not that individual was giving you correct translations from Mr. On to yourself?
I have no idea.
All right. But you knew that there was, or it was related to you, that there was a desire to try to arrive at solutions for the community in a broad sense?
I would not say that.
Do you recognize the fact that there was, in fact, a language problem and has been?
Absolutely.
All right. And do you know of other Koreans who own businesses in that area?
Yes.
Sustained.
All right. Have you ever asked that any of the businesses where any of these horrible events that have occurred be shut down?
Sustained.
Have you ever asked for that?
Objection.
Shows
Sustained.
bias?
Objection.
All right. Thank you.
All right, so thank you, sir. Come up over. State your name, please.
Charles Duff. I am the president of a nonprofit group called Jubilee Baltimore, which owns an apartment house in Greenmount West.
All right. Do you have something to tell us about this bar?
I have no independent testimony. I'm here to support my neighborhood association.
Support who?
My neighborhood association, the New Greenmount West Community Association. I'd just as soon not testify, but I did want you to know that I was here and on this side.
All right. There's not much, any questions?
Thank you.
Very
Thank you,
good.
sir.
That's all to say.
All right, time has come now for discussion of punishment. I'll be glad to hear from you, sir.
Your Honor, without waiving any of my previous
Of course,
objections.
none of your previous arguments are
Yes,
waived.
thank you very much, Your Honor. Let me say that what has occurred in this instance to a man who is in this country legally, who cannot understand the English language, but is represented by counsel who does understand it and doesn't understand Korean, that this board has this discretion under the statute to do anything from revocation down to a $1 fine. And in that, I'm certain that you will do your best. Thank you.
All right, with respect to the issues in this case with respect to punishment, I've already found that the establishment is responsible for the activities. And looking back at the record, it looks to me like nothing has been learned since we closed it for 2 weeks the last time this establishment was before this board. Therefore, obviously, at that time, I recall making the remark that this was a warning and not a final solution, and that it was the responsibility of the establishment to clean its act up. I understand it's difficult at that corner. I myself could tell you stories about Greenmount and North that have nothing to do with this operation. And the operation of a liquor establishment in the city of Baltimore is becoming more difficult in recent years. The law is clear. The dispensing of liquor is a privilege, not a right. There are no constitutional rights applying to it. The local jurisdictions, including every single county and city in the United States of America, can pass its own laws with respect to the privilege of dispensing alcohol. Therefore, in this particular case, there is no violation that I see whatsoever in the way this matter has been handled before this board. It's clear to me that this operator is operating an establishment which is over his head, where he just doesn't know how to operate the business, or it's just too much, or the corner is too violent, the corner is too rough, but the things that he has done, which from the testimony I've heard from you, Mr. Smith, is nothing. Not a single thing has been done. There's been no testimony about security, no testimony about any type of activity, including electronic devices, to find out what, if anything, is going on from 6 o'clock in the morning until 2 a.m. in the morning. Therefore, I regard this as an extremely serious case, and therefore I close this bar, that's my decision, until the last day of April 2015. The fine, again, this time because of the repeating of the same incidents of which we've had before, is $2,500. And Commissioners, your turn.
I agree with the chairman's decision to close the bar or to suspend the license until April 30, 2015, and to impose a $2,500 fine. The impact on the community is huge. This is one of the busiest intersections in terms of transit in the state of Maryland. It is a intersection that I use almost daily on my way to work and to go about business, and have seen, for myself how busy the intersection is. And it's not just that the intersection is busy with public transit. It is busy with students going to and from school. It is busy with persons who are trying to go to and from work, to home. There is a substantial number of people that are loitering both across the street from Eric 500 and in the lobby of Eric 500. It is entirely possible to sit in your car at the light and look to the left when I'm going south and see inside of Eric 500. The way that the store is set up, there is, it's one of the, I call it a plastic barrier store. You cannot get in unless you are either buzzed in. You cannot communicate except through glass. There is a wall of alcohol bottles. So there is, the whole questioning about whether or not this was alcohol or not is a red herring, as we like to say in the law. Clearly, this is a liquor establishment that exists to dispense liquor. It is open 7 days a week, 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. I am impressed by the testimony of the three people from the community that testified, as well as Mr. Duff, who opted not to testify but stood in support. I am impressed that there have been efforts to communicate with the licensee, but those efforts have not produced results. I'm also impressed that the licensee was here before us not too terribly long ago, and that our having met with the licensees and talked about what the problems were and imposed a period of closure and fines have not resulted in a resolution of the problems. And so for all those reasons, I not only support the chairman's recommendation of closure for until April 30, 2015 and the imposition of the fine, but should there be a request that these penalties and fines be stayed, I would oppose that, because clearly this establishment is a great detriment to the community at large. And in this instance, it's not just the people that live in the community, the greater Greenmount community. I know where this intersection is with Lafayette. I understand Jubilee, Baltimore. It's not just the people that live there. It is everybody that crosses through, everyone that comes through, and there are probably hundreds of thousands of people that come through that intersection every day. So for those reasons, because of the great harm, I would not support lifting of the stay.
I agree with everything that has been said, and there's no need for me to repeat any of it, so I concur.
How much time does he need to pay a fine of $2,500?
Your Honor,
If you wish to ask for it. If you
ask
wish
for-
to ask for time.
Oh, yes.
The
Your
fine
Honor.
is due now unless you ask for.
Oh, yes. We would ask April the 30th, 2015.
You have that. All right, now I also join in with the other commissioners with respect to our continued position with respect to being opposed to lifting these closures.
Yes, that's up to the
Tom?
circuit court, is it not,
Tom?
Your Honor?
Stay.
I didn't ask for a stay because I didn't think I would receive one. I'm perfectly happy to ask down with my friends at the circuit court.
Your friends?
Yes, everybody is a friend of mine.
Was I
including the janitor.
Was I included in there?
Oh, you were one of the best.
Anyway, with respect to the circuit court, I join in, and this board finds that lifting closures without hearing the testimony after it's been written up in a transcript, I don't know how a court can decide anything like that, because the testimony is the basis of our decision. You have our decision, sir.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. And of course, all issues are preserved. And I'll get back to you on that business with the injunction.
All right. All right, let me know when you're ready for the next case.
Calling,
Wait a minute.
Wait, not sure he's ready yet.
W-
Oh, he's ready.
He's ready. Go ahead, sir.
Uh-oh. He's ready.
Go ahead, call your case.
I was going to call ISIS. Who are you with? Oh, calling Elaine Fordham ISIS LLC, trading as ISIS Lounge, 226 through 228 Park Avenue.
All right, come up, sir. I have a question for the prosecutor, if I may use that term, and that is with respect to the fourth charge, violation of Rule 4.10. It seems to be a repeat of the previous rule, the third charge of Rule 3.03 records. Would that be true or not true?
No, that's not true, Your Honor.
Okay, that's fine. Going to go ahead with it then. Are you ready?
Your Honor, we're ready to proceed today. I didn't have an opportunity to speak to the licensee. I believe this is Ms. Fordham.
Yes.
Is that correct? Ms. Fordham showed up a little bit late after we started. Your Honor, I haven't had a chance to speak with her at all. We're ready to go today. All of our witnesses are here.
So why don't you speak to her?
Mr. Smith,
Yes, I'm sorry.
Thank you very much.
Your Honor, may I be excused?
Yes. you're
Thank you.
excused. Go ahead. You want to speak to her right in front of the board?
Yes.
Go ahead.
What if anything, did you?
We'll take a
You
recess
got
while
notice
you're
of this?
speaking.
I didn't, I only was made aware of this last month.
You can go off record.
Off record?
Off record, 5 minutes. Okay, we'll start with you right afterwards.
So what's going to happen? We're ready to go.
Okay, folks.
Our agent was.
Who are you?
I'm the attorney with the liquor board.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's what they have to take a look. Right.
It's different licenses.
I thought they've had it for, when I pulled up this information for these licenses, my son.
That was his, that wasn't this guy. We was never.
Then they told me I was able to come get it. But I didn't know I could go get it. That part of life.
I mean, I get it,
The toilet, the toilet, the only part is the liquor and the hookah part. That's it. And when I went to court.
Michelle? I'm sorry for.
Right.
I don't know CPR. There's water on you. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure.
I don't, she's an LLM liquors.
understand. I think that's the reason why. That's the reason why. Because she's the other license. Same, it's not a new license or new Well, there are two people on the license.
Sometimes that does count as a transfer.
I don't know when that happened.
So what year was that? What year was that?
I don't know when
I don't have, I can't remember.
that
Half all these files are missing. The ones for all the, I'm surprised they didn't get all that.
He's saying it's. I don't know.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't know when that happened.
No, it was in, that was comprehensive in 09. Yeah, and 8 doesn't count, that's what he's saying. So the 8, so he's saying 8 doesn't count because the comprehensive. But if that was, if that's the principal here, then I would say that the conference happened in 9, then an 8 charge doesn't count. Yeah, but I'm just saying, let's just do it like that, I'm good with it. Because if the conference is transferred, then I'm good with that. So what you gonna do? What you gonna do here? There's no charge, there's no previous, because if the conference happened in 9, then let's go, let's do it, let's go. Okay.
Stay right on.
All right. He wants to stay on track, what you're doing.
Got it.
Yeah, oh, wrong one.
Thank you, Judge. I didn't want you to sit in that hot seat.
I've already called ISIS LLC.
Yes. All right, folks, we're back on the record.
You're recalling ISIS LLC, Lane Boredom Trading as ISIS Lounge, Thomas.
All right, present your case, sir.
President, Your Honor, I spoke with the licensee. She said she just got notice of the charges yesterday, and she'd like an opportunity to postpone. I'll let her speak for herself in regards to that matter.
Why is it she just got it noticed yesterday?
I'll let her explain
I was
that.
just notified yesterday via text.
Somebody just gave it to you yesterday?
Yes. Mhm.
And you never knew about it
I
beforehand?
never knew about it before.
Well, I think she's entitled to more time for preparation. I don't understand why.
Well, Your Honor, I would just say, I have a copy here, and I'm showing you now.
Tell me what it
notice. It was actually served on January 20th to one of the bartenders, and she's stating, this is the licensee, she's stating that she just got notice now.
I can show you a text that I received.
Well, I believe you, ma'am.
Yeah.
You don't have to explain yourself.
I just, if the board is going to grant a postponement, I just want to make sure it works with all the officers, because I have agents from the comptroller here as well.
Comports with your schedules. So see if you can talk to each other right now and give me a date.
We can do this March 12th, if we have it.
March 12th?
12th.
March 12th, gentlemen? March 12th it is.
Can I?
Postpone.
Can I
Yeah.
ask for a copy of?
Certainly.
I can take this? Oh, thank you. March 12th, same time?
If anything comes up, gentlemen, emergencies, or...
Before we go, could we just ask for her best address for future service? I think that we need to get that on the record. Oh,
You want me to go back
But
on
I was
the
never
record?
sworn on. I was never
yes,
sworn.
please. I'd like to go, could we do that, Your Honor?
Certainly.
Okay, I'd like to go back on the record. And should she be sworn?
No, we'll
Yeah.
just
I
get
just wanna
postponement.
Because you said that it was served on a bartender and you didn't get this
No,
until.
they're not. Last night.
Yesterday. We need to get the best address for you.
Okay.
And could you please
Will a P.O.
provide-
box be sufficient?
What?
A P.O. box?
No, we gotta
Okay,
be able to serve you,
7-4.
ma'am. You're doing business in Baltimore. Your address.
7403 Brompton Road, Brompton.
Brompton
Mm-hmm.
Road,
21207.
Any questions?
Baltimore, Maryland.
21207.
Is there a telephone number?
443
Okay,
865
865.
1203.
All right,
Yes.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're
March
excused.
12th.
Call the next case.
1 second, please.
Wait.
All right, I'm ready.
Ready, go ahead.
Calling Lee L&M Incorporated, trading as L&M Liquors, Hak Jun Lee and Gloria Tyler.
I don't seem to have it next.
It's your last case.
Last one. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Number 6.
The last case.
All right, Laura, everybody could please speak one at a time.
I'll handle that.
I can't.
Ask me.
Please instruct them.
All right, folks, the case is called. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, you represent the
Yes,
parties
Mayor.
and your
For the
name?
record, Gary Maslin, 7508 Eastern Avenue, on behalf of the licensee.
Now, are we going to have testimony?
No, it would be an admission, Your Honor.
All right, then we don't need to swear them. I'd be glad to hear from you. You, sir.
Your Honor.
Mhm.
Your Honor, it's been agreed and stipulated that on December 17, 2014, approximately 11:13 p.m., the Baltimore City Police Department conducted an underage alcohol investigation at L&M Liquors located at 1148 East North Avenue, Baltimore City, Maryland. Police Cadet Jones, who's standing
To my left, who's underage of 21, entered the establishment and purchased a 375 milliliter New Amsterdam peach vodka from the bartender store clerk, which cost $7.29. Cadet Jones, using a $20 bill that was marked by police, purchased the alcoholic beverage and received change from the bartender. The cadet then communicated with police, responded to the scene. The police entered the establishment and notified the bartender store clerk with that an alcoholic beverage had just been sold to a minor. It would be reported to the Baltimore Liquor Board. The police then recovered the marked currency and returned both the alcoholic beverage to the bartender and the change that was provided to the cadet. Your Honor, I'm introducing what's marked as Exhibit Number 1, which is a copy of the police report indicating, which was drafted by Detective Akawande, who's standing to my immediate left, moving that into evidence. And I now show it to Mr. Massey.
All right.
That's number 6.
No objection.
All right.
Now showing what's marked
Exhibit
as-
1, mark it, please.
I'm now showing what's marked as Exhibit 2. It's a copy of a photo taken of Cadet Jones with the bottle of alcohol in his hand and the licensee's address.
Yes, no, okay.
All right.
Exhibit 2.
Exhibit 2.
Thank you, sir.
All events for Baltimore City State of Maryland, that would be our case.
Any additions or corrections?
None.
All right, do you wish to be heard on the issue of responsibility?
No.
All right, I find, of course, plea is responsible, and I find that their responsibility for the charge. Now, with respect to punishment, I'd be glad to
This is
hear.
the first time my client's been before the board. Your Honor. He normally is responsible and deals with customers. He went to the bathroom on this particular occasion. His sister, who normally runs the lottery.
This first time?
First time. She jumped in. She has a little bit of a learning disability, and she understands she's not supposed to sell to anybody under 21, but the cadet had if you look at the picture, had a hat on. It was cold outside, and she's a short lady, and she looked up, and she made a mistake. He was quite upset, and now when he goes to the bathroom, he's instructed her not to just wait on anybody. We told him.
And she was smoking a cigarette at the time of raid.
But he's quite upset about the matter. But he's never been here before, and he's had the license for several years. I'd ask the to consider suspending a portion of the fine and making it a small fine. He definitely got the message. He learned the lesson. He saw the last case. He realizes the seriousness of his responsibilities, and he does take them seriously.
Questions?
None?
Questions?
No questions.
I have a question. How long has he been in business here?
How long have you had the license here?
I've been working there for more than 10 years, but the license changed to my name, I think, 5 years ago.
I got to talk a little louder, okay?
About 5 years ago.
5 years.
And we need to have him identified, please.
State your name.
My name is Hak Lee, Hak Jun Lee.
And are you the licensee?
Yes, sir.
Well, that all seems to be true. There's no, police officers have anything they wish to add?
So this is not a community problem at all. The bar's been there for a long time, and they've never had any issues.
Well, it seems to be true what you said in view of the plea and in view of the background or lack of it. That is lack of bad background. $500 fine, all suspended except $250. How much time do you need to pay it?
When can you pay that, Mr. Lee?
2 months?
2 months? He needs 2 months to pay $250?
2 months to pay $250.
Oh, no, 1 month.
All right, 30 days. Commissioner?
That's good, sir. I agree.
Was there cooperation?
Yes.
Yes. So I agree. I concur.
All right, sir, you have our decision.
All right, thank you very much. I need a minute.
Okay.
You all set?
You just have one case there?
I have the case, but I got all the I know which case it was, but it was so rapid that I didn't get
I
any.
know, we're going really fast. The next is Las Tajitas. Got that? Macon Street, and then the next two.
You're so nice.
Hmm?
Miss Moore,
I
she's so
spent my
nice.
whole career working with court reporters. It can't right, Your Honor, it can't happen without the court reporter.
That's right.
It did, in fact, it didn't happen. The court reporter doesn't get it.
Next case, please.
Is he ready?
He's ready.
No, you're not.
Apparently I am, so let's just go. Okay.
Go ahead. I don't know.
I know it was Las Tajitas, okay. Calling Las Tajitas Restaurant LLC on Moreno, Las Tajitas Restaurant. Tom Sachs on behalf of the board, and your honor to live there.
And the date? I mean, the address?
The address is 422 South Macon Street, 422, actually 426.
Okay, and you want to make a preliminary?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe in the charging document at the top, the licensee, because I had to rewrite the new charges, was listed as a Mandakis,
Full Menadakis, she's sitting right here.
Manapula Mandakis, who's still on the license,
No,
correct?
not on the license.
Not on the license. It's Jose, I
Mar-
think we have Juan Moreno too, is that correct?
Correct. The license was transferred to Mr. Moreno, I think in November of 2014,
So where's the licensee today?
right here.
He is the licensee.
Mhm.
That's Juan Moreno, correct?
Mhm.
Yes, we're gonna, so the charging document should just be amended to Juan Moreno. It was a late, and yeah, all the proper parties have been served, Your Honor.
Spell out Juan Marino.
Juanmoreno.
But you're amending for what's the date on it?
The date on it, I mean, there are a number of charges.
No, but give me, the July date shouldn't be on there.
The July date is no longer on there.
Okay.
So what's the date?
December 14th, we have an incident. We have an incident on January 17th as well.
So the first charge is dropped or what? You're mixing me up.
I apologize, Your Honor. Your Honor, I had to rewrite these charges. The first charge, if you have the old charging document, if it's related to a July date, we're dismissing that charge, but I had.
So the rule 4.05, prohibited hours, July 26,
That's
2014.
dismissed.
Is dismissed?
Correct, Your Honor.
Dropped by prosecutor.
Correct.
All right, any other charges dropped?
No, that's it, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, can you enter your appearance, sir?
For the record, Melvin J. Kaninsky, 19 East Fayette Street, representing the licensee.
All right, this is a live testimony?
Correct, Your Honor. I've got.
Just a minute.
Mr. President.
Swear the witnesses.
Get your,
Raise your right hands, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
All right, present your case.
Could you please state your name and duty sign for the record?
Officer Stephen Down, patrol in the Southeast District.
How do you spell your last name, sir?
Down, Downing.
And how long have you been a police officer?
Approximately 4 years.
And what is your current assignment?
Southeast District Patrol.
And what are your duties as a patrol officer?
Patrol the area, prevent crime, and answer calls for service.
And did you happen to be working on December 14th, 2014, approximately 1:36 a.m.?
Yes.
And did you happen to respond to an establishment called Las Tajitas Restaurant located at 422 through 426 South Macon Street?
Yes.
And what city and state is that located in?
Oklahoma City, State of Maryland.
And if you can recall the circumstances which led you to that establishment at that time, could you tell the board?
I received a call for service that there was individuals fighting in the street.
And if you could walk the board through what you observed once you responded to the scene.
On my way to the scene, I observed multiple people, approximately 10, running through the street down various blocks, many of which were throwing punches at each other and fighting.
Did many of it were fighting, you say?
Yes, they were fighting.
From where, if you could tell, were they running from?
That's all I can hear. Sorry.
Just a minute.
I just couldn't hear anybody talking, so go ahead.
Let me know when you're satisfied. Good, all right, go ahead, Seth.
From where, if you could tell, were they running from?
They were running circularly through the streets, so I wouldn't be able to definitely say where they were running from.
Okay. Once you got on the scene, what if anything did you,
What, if anything, did you do?
As I was driving up, the large crowd dispersed because I was in a marked patrol car with my lights and sirens active. As I got there, I observed a Hispanic male who had blood coming from his nose and his face from multiple injuries.
Where did you observe this Hispanic male?
He was sitting on the sidewalk in front of a parking lot.
And where was the parking lot located in association with the 422 South Macon?
Right across the small street.
Okay. And what, if anything, did you do when you observed this male?
I requested for him to have medical assistance come.
Why?
Because he was bleeding profusely.
Did you perform any kind of investigation to find out why he was bleeding profusely from his head?
Yes, I did. I had another officer respond to translate because he spoke Spanish.
And what, if anything, did you find out?
He advised that he had been inside.
I want to object if it's testimony taken from somebody that's not here, and it also was testimony taken from somebody who's a translator who's not here.
Overruled. Go ahead, sir.
He advised that he had been inside the bar located at right there on Macon Street.
When you say he, who are you talking about?
The victim
Okay.
who had been assaulted.
Mm-hmm. And when you say the bar, you mean Las Tejidas?
Yes.
Okay.
Advised that he had been inside, was drinking, and while he was inside, he engaged in a fist fight with another male.
Okay. And after that, after he engaged in the fist fight, what, if anything, happened?
Security threw him out of the bar, and when he was removed from the bar, he was assaulted by two other separate individuals while he was once he was removed from the bar.
Did the victim happen to tell you where those individuals came from?
He didn't know where they had come from.
Okay. And once he told you that, what, if anything, did you do?
As we were waiting, he observed two Hispanic males looking around the corner of a building, and he advised that those were the two males who had assaulted him.
How far away was the building from where you were standing and talking to the victim?
I would say approximately 30 to 40 feet.
Okay. And what, if anything, did you do when he identified those individuals?
Myself and other officers went over to those individuals and stopped them to identify them. And while we had them stopped, we brought them closer. And again, I asked him to positively identify if those males were the ones who had assaulted him.
And what did he say?
He advised that they were the ones who had assaulted him outside the bar.
Okay. And did you happen to question these individuals as to what they were doing in the area, and if they had any contact with the victim?
I'm going to object. That's pretty far here.
When I take it under advisement, I want to hear it, then I'll decide. You renew your objection if you have it. Go ahead, sir.
I did ask them. They advised that they had just been walking through the area.
Okay. Did they make any statements as to being in the bar?
Not that I remember.
Okay. Did you ever have the opportunity to go inside the bar?
I did go inside the bar.
And when you went inside the bar, what investigation, if any, did you conduct?
Well, the employees were already cleaning the bar up, so I just got the liquor board violation, or the liquor board paperwork from them, the license.
Did you get to talk to any of the bouncers when you were there?
I did not.
Were there bouncers there?
There were earlier that night.
Characterization of bouncers when you referred to security people earlier. I don't know if they're the same people or not.
Whatever they're called, overruled.
There were security there earlier, yes.
Did you talk to the security people about this incident at all?
I did not that night.
All right. Did you talk to any of the bar managers about this incident at all?
I did not talk to them, no.
Did you ever perform any follow-up investigation as to the incident that occurred, and in speaking with bar personnel?
No, I did not.
Okay. And did the individual, the victim who was accosted in that area, did he have to be taken away by the medic, or was he just treated on scene?
He was transported to the hospital.
Indulgence, Your Honor. And did you happen to write a report that evening in regards to the incident that occurred at 422 South Macon Street?
Yes, I actually wrote 2 reports. One was for the common assault that occurred inside, and then I had to write a second report for the aggravated assault that occurred outside.
So when you say the inside, you're talking about the same victim?
Yes,
who-
when he was engaged with another male inside the location,
Okay.
prior to being kicked out
Well,
by
I'm mixed
security.
up. I thought it was all the same. You saw two people looking around a corner, and it's not the same two people
No,
inside?
he said he got into a fight
Well,
inside.
I'm mixed up. Maybe somebody else has clarified.
Yes. So how many times was the victim involved in a altercation that evening?
Twice.
And in those two separate altercations, were they two separate sets of individuals that assaulted him?
Yes,
Okay. The first altercation happened where?
inside the bar Las Tajitas.
Okay. And then the victim was ejected.
Yes.
And then the second,
Jack, I think he said he was removed or escorted out in this.
He was
Ask
removed.
him what it was.
how was the victim escorted out of the bar?
I would have
How
to.
did he get from inside to outside?
Security removed him from the bar.
And then there was another
Yes,
attack.
two separate assailants then came and struck him with bottles and fists.
And where
Was there
did
physical contact in the second one?
Yes.
and where did that occur?
It began out in front of the bar and then spilled onto the streets.
Okay. I'm now showing you what's been collectively marked as exhibit number 1. Could you tell the board what that is?
It's a police report for aggravated assault that I wrote in reference to this incident.
And that particular police report that you're holding in your hand, was that the report for the inside attack or the outside attack?
This one is for the outside.
Okay, and if you flip through the pages, do you see another police report?
Yes.
And did you author that police report?
I'm sorry?
Did you author that police report?
Yes, I did.
And is that for the incident that occurred inside the bar or outside the bar?
Well, the common assault report is for what occurred inside the bar.
Okay, so we have both reports on both separate incidences?
Yes.
And move that into evidence as exhibit number 1 collectively.
Well, I make an objection on that. You want to cross-examine him first.
Have you seen the report?
I've seen it, yeah.
I'll hold up my ruling until you're cross-examined. You finished? With this witness?
For this witness, yes.
Cross.
Yeah, officer, when you got a call, you came to the area of 422 South Macon Street, is that correct?
Yes.
That's when you saw various individuals on the street?
Yes.
All right, at that point, you didn't witness anything happening in the establishment, no type of assault in the establishment, is that correct?
That's correct.
And in fact, the first time that you went into the establishment, there's nothing going on in the establishment. They were, you said, cleaning up, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you did witness there were security people there.
They had left, at the time when I had made it into the bar, it was after 2 a.m.
And the name of the person who was involved, you referred to him as a victim. What is his name? Do you know?
I would have to refer to my
Yeah, take a look.
His name would be Cesar Gomez.
Cesar Gomez, and where did he live, according to the information he gave to you?
630 South Lehigh Street.
And that's about 2 blocks from the establishment?
Yes.
Okay. And so you don't know, from your information, the first time you saw him, he was outside, you said, sitting down on a curb?
Yes.
And was it sitting down on a curb on the same side as Las Tajitas, or was he across the street on the other side?
He was on the same side as Las Tajitas.
All right. And along with that, you don't know how long he was in Las Tajitas.
That's correct.
You don't know even if he was in Las Tajitas, as a matter of fact, only what you were told, correct?
I did not see him inside.
Okay. So the first time you had seen him was on the outside?
Yes.
All right. And then the 2 other individuals that you had mentioned that he pointed out when they saw them, I guess, looking around a corner, you didn't have any information that they were ever in Las Tajitas, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you know what their names were? If you look at your report?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It'd be Sergio Gonzalez and Edwin Caballero.
All right. And do you know whether or not they were at all charged?
I arrested them for aggravated assault,
Okay.
first-degree assault.
And do you know what the outcome of those charges were?
I do not.
All right. You and I had talked, and would you be surprised if I told you those cases were null prost?
I would not be surprised, no.
Okay. Now, along with the area, there's quite a few other establishments across the street on Eastern Avenue, is that correct?
Yes,
And would you be fair to say within a block, there are probably 3 or 4 Latino or establishments?
yes,
Would you know what the names of them are if I told you?
yes, I would.
Objection, Your Honor. Where's this going?
I'm going to take it subject to all your testimony. Go ahead.
And I'll give you, 4617 Charo Negro,
Yes.
all right? And you have Acetos Lounge at 4701.
No, I'm not familiar with that.
How about Wendy's Byzantio Cafe?
Yes,
All right. And along with that, there are other establishments that are up and down Eastern Avenue, which is across the street from this establishment, okay? Correct?
correct.
I'm going to show you a photograph. That, I'm taking pride in authorship in this, Mr. Google, whoever he is did it. Does that, you see where the little, like a balloon, that indicates Macon Street?
Yes,
All right, and across the street from the establishment is a parking lot,
yes.
and it's a public parking lot?
I'm not aware whether it's public
Okay.
or not.
Cars parked there, though.
Yes,
And then Eastern Avenue is right on the other side there, is that
Yes.
correct? And across the street on Eastern Avenue is where these other establishments are located, correct?
some of them, yes.
Yeah, and besides the Latino ones I mentioned, there are Greek restaurants there.
Correct,
You got Ikaros, you got Zorba's, right?
yes,
All right. So that means quite a few people in the flow of traffic there.
that's correct.
Okay. And the people that you saw outside, the ones that you saw dispersed, you didn't have any idea where they were coming or going from.
That's correct.
And at the time when you saw them, this was about 1:30, 1:45, which would have been closing time?
Yes,
Okay. And other than the two individuals that you locked up that were peeking around the building, there was no other arrest?
correct,
And there were no arrests made with anybody in the licensed premises?
correct.
And when you went into licensed premises, you had indicated to me that you went in there for the purpose of basically getting the information off the liquor license.
Yes,
All right. So it wasn't that you didn't have a big conversation with anybody in there.
correct.
Okay. And was there anybody? Were they cooperative at least when you went in?
Yes,
Okay. All right. I didn't have this marked.
Want to mark it?
I got extra ones. You want to keep the ones you got?
And what is it you want us to show us?
The
What-
little red balloon
Is what?
the 422 South Macon. Across the street is the parking lot, and I got some more here.
Across the street on what street?
Eastern Avenue. And then the other places I would submit from the Liquor Board records. You got an extra
Well, I'm
one?
not sure where I see. This main drag is Eastern Avenue, and there's a parking lot across from the Portugal
If you
Street.
know where 422 was, it was the old Ilona's restaurant. We used to go up there and get pizzas.
Oh, you got plenty of them. All right, mark it. Exhibit 2, I'm still holding on the report.
And I would submit this time too, the list of the licensees that are in that, across the street within the 2 or 3 blocks. Yeah, well, I didn't know which one of you went to have one, so you could look at it.
Nobody wants to be left out,
That's what
That's
I
true.
thought.
right?
All right, go ahead. Any other questions of this witness?
No.
Just very quickly, Your Honor. I'm showing him, council's picture.
It's not mine, it's Mr. Google.
Mr. Google's picture. I'd like you to take this pen right here. If you could, just make a big circle where you found the victim when you first arrived on the scene. Okay, and if you could, you can mark that 1. And if you could you also mark where you saw, when you arrived at the scene, you said you saw a number of people running in different directions. Could you please circle that area on the map and mark 2? Okay. And so, and this is correct, this is the location right there?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it?
Yeah, I'm going to submit, I'm just going to just ask him about it.
Yeah, I'm going to move that.
Okay, well, it's mine. You can adopt it as yours if you want, because I think it's a nice one. Would
Wait a
you-
minute. You threw your redirect?
A
And, no, I'm done with my redirector. That's
Recross.
fine.
Yeah. What you had marked, is that number 1 is where you said you saw the victim. Is that correct?
Correct.
And and that was actually on the corner of Eastern Avenue and Macon Street where the parking lot is.
Correct.
Okay? And Las Tajitas is probably 100, 200 feet away behind it. Is that correct, across the street?
Correct.
Okay. And the people that you had seen that were making this exit, they were across the street and on the same side of Eastern Avenue. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And if you don't, can I mark it a little clearer?
Yeah, just.
Yeah, because saying this is. You know, some penmanship here. You've got a Catholic school.
Come on, folks.
So I would indicate so the board can see that 1, as indicated by the police officer, is where the victim was seated with a bloody nose and so forth. And 2 is on Eastern Avenue where he saw the people that were dispersing. I have no further questions.
All right, call the next witness.
Next, I'll be calling Chief Inspector Shelton Jones.
I'm holding on the police report until I hear all the testimony.
No problem. Can I go ahead?
Go ahead.
Could you please state your name and duty assignment for the record?
Chief Shelton Jones, Baltimore City Liquor Board.
How long have you been with Baltimore City Liquor Board?
Since October 2014.
And what are your duties with Baltimore City Liquor Board?
I am the chief inspector which supervises the inspectors, and I also go out and do inspections with them.
Okay, and did you happen to be conducting an inspection on January 17, 2015, approximately 1 a.m.?
Yes, I was.
And did you happen to visit the location known as Las Tajitas, located at 42226 South Macon Street?
Yes, I did.
And what city and state is that located in?
Baltimore, Maryland.
And just one other question, was who, if anyone, was accompanying you on this inspection?
Inspector Conacolis.
Okay. And what was the purpose of your inspection that day?
We were just out conducting routine inspections in the early morning hours.
And could you please describe what, if anything, happened when you came to 422 to 426 South Macon Street?
When we arrived, we found a parking spot on the parking lot right in front of Las Tajitas. We exited the vehicle and walked up the side of Las Tajitas. And as we walked up, we could see through the blinds, they have brown wooden blinds, that there were people dancing on the dance floor. So we continued towards the front door, and we could hear the music coming from the location. We continued to the front door, and I tried the front door, and I could see that there was a security guy standing in front of the door, and the door was locked. So I couldn't open the door, and people couldn't exit. So I knocked on the door, he turned around, I flashed my identification at him, and then he opened the door.
What, if anything, did you observe once you entered into the establishment?
When I first went in, the security guard, like I said, was in front of the door. And what I did was I asked for the owner, and he pointed me toward the bar area. So at that time, there were still people dancing on the dance floor. We walked past them and went over to the bar area, where there were approximately between 5 and 10 young ladies behind the bar working. The owner himself was behind the bar. The licensee was behind the bar. I advised him who I was and asked him to come from behind the bar. In fact, he met me at the corner of the bar, and we started talking about why the door was closed and the other information. I turned around and noticed that a wall that used to be there had been removed, and that the people were dancing on the dance floor, and that a newly constructed DJ booth had been erected in the rear of the location.
A newly constructed what?
DJ booth, a booth. So at that time, I guess Agent Conacolis was mingling about, and I was talking to the owner. We saw one of the patrons sitting at the bar smoking hookah from a hookah.
What's a hookah? When you say smoke hookah, explain that.
It's a smoking device used to smoke tobacco, and they were actually sitting at the bar smoking hookah. at which time I advised the owner that we were going to close him early due to the dancing, the hookah, the public safety that was going on with all these people in there dancing. They wasn't allowed to be dancing, and that I noticed that the wall had been moved and this newly erected DJ booth had been placed there.
Okay, and let me ask you a question. What kind of license does this particular establishment have, if you can recall?
I can't recall from my memory, no.
If I can show you something, will it help refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Okay. May I approach?
Certainly, show him the license.
That's his report.
Correct.
Well, you don't have a copy of the license?
Do you have a copy? If you
That would be nice.
What's the answer?
Yeah, it's significant about his license to be able for you to look at it, I think.
What kind of license is it?
It's a B license.
Okay. And with that B license, I'm sorry.
Let me see if it's the same one.
This
It
is,
says,
2012,
says Peter Angelis on this one. I don't think we want that one.
Let me see the 14, 15.
You mean let me help you? I mean, I can. Here, Tom, see if that's not what we're talking about. See if that's the same one.
Okay. Is this the rest?
That's the current one.
Yes.
Okay, I got it. That's fine. And
I learned that from Ed Smith in the prior board.
can I show a copy too? Do you have the transfer in front of you? Do you have a license?
I don't know which one. That may be an old one.
I'll show you this. May I?
Sure.
That's the new one. Now, based on that license, do the licensees?
Was this license in effect at the time of?
I would stipulate that if you indicate on the license it says transferred 10/14/7, there's a 10/14.
It's 10/14.
Madam, 10/14, right?
Yeah.
10/14/7, 2014.
Now, on that license, does it speak to allowing the licensee to have live entertainment at the establishment?
I have to look at it again. I have it.
He's the one that asked for it, but he still hasn't seen it.
All right, well, can't we agree, folks, on what this license, stated into evidence?
Yes, it's fine.
Well, go ahead.
No,
What
I-
does this license allow?
It's a restaurant and it doesn't allow for live entertainment. Depends, our arguments what live entertainment is, but that's fine.
Is dancing illegal or legal?
We maintain dancing is not illegal, but I don't know if you need somebody from zoning to come here and
It's
say.
not on the
that-
license.
Well, the dancing would never be on the license, you know, but
Is it part of entertainment?
that's always a good question.
Does the license permit entertainment?
The license does not permit live entertainment.
Okay, and we finally got there. All right, go ahead.
Now, was there a DJ in the DJ booth when you entered into the establishment playing music?
I'm not sure. I went straight towards the bar area.
Okay.
Now, the license, I assume, doesn't permit hookah.
Correct, Your Honor. And since it is a B license, did you do an investigation or inspection of the kitchen?
Yes.
Was the kitchen operating?
No.
Was any food being prepared?
No.
Was there any food stock in the kitchen?
Not to my knowledge.
And so the only function, based on your observations, that this restaurant was engaging in was serving alcohol, allowing people to dance, and smoke hookah.
Yes.
Now, did you take any pictures that night?
Yes, I did.
Now, if I show you what's been marked, and this will be collected. Did you actually write a report? Strike that. Did you write a report that evening?
Yes, I did.
And what are you looking at right now?
A copy of my report.
And did you also take any pictures that evening?
Yes, I did.
And if you can flip to the back, are those the pictures that you took? Some of the pictures that you took?
Yes.
And specifically, if you look at picture 3, right there that you're holding, and I want to just show this to the board right here. This picture right here. Commissioner. Now, is this the wall that you were talking about?
That's the area where the wall used to be. Actually, not right in this picture. It's actually behind where I am.
Okay, can you, we'll do, well, this was the wall right here. So let's, do you want to do a, which would be a
Into
better?
the mic, please.
Yes, in the next photo, yes.
That's fine. Now I'm showing you this picture, I apologize. And this is in, what's marked collectively, or going to be marked collectively as exhibit number 2. That wall right
It's
there,
not 3, it's 2.
this is going to be collectively 2.
What happened to 3? Wait, it's 3 in or out?
Oh, Your Honor, I think that was their exhibit, Your Honor. I've only, for me,
No, I'm talking about yours.
mine, this would be my exhibit yes, Your Honor, because I didn't, yes, exhibit number 3. You're right, correct, Your Honor, I apologize.
And so we're showing a picture exhibit number 3.
3.
Yes, no, Your Honor, exhibit number 3 is collectively,
Take your time. Pick yourself. I want to know the numbers, correct numbers of the exhibits. Go back with the chief inspector and let's get it straight. Because last time you said it was where the wall was with picture number 3.
correct.
Is that right or wrong?
That's incorrect, Your Honor. The wall is where it's picture number 2.
All right, so we change that to picture number 2.
Correct.
Show it to the commissioners and council.
And where does he say the wall was?
Right here. That was the wall.
Right here, you're talking about.
This, right here. Right here. You see where the posts are?
Hmm.
That was the wall.
All right, show it to the commissioners.
Now, this is what I'm talking about, picture number 2.
Where's the wall?
This was the wall, Your Honor.
Okay. You okay? All
There's no
right.
wall there now. Now, I'm going to ask, I'm going to be moving into evidence collectively as exhibit number 3, copy of the report and the pictures.
All right, now the same report. Do you have anything further you wish to say?
I'll ask him questions about the pictures
'Cause I'm
collectively.
gonna admit the report.
Well, okay.
And
Mark it
it's been marked, sir.
collectively.
Collectively. Now, how are you familiar with Las Tajitas?
From my years in Vice at the Baltimore City Police Department, in Vice, I visited the location on many occasions.
Well, I'm going to object. That's not what we're here for. I think it clouds the issue. Maybe something for later on, but, you know, I think at this point here,
Well, let me get it step by step. Are you objecting to his expertise,
as an inspector in Vice,
as is a total lifetime experience in these fields?
no, I'm not.
Okay, it's admitted then as an expert. Now, what else are you objecting?
I'm saying is we're here for 2 events that took place. One was in December of 14 and January of 15, not anything before that. And
Okay, I gotta listen to the question so I
Okay.
can rule on that. Go ahead.
When was the last time you visited this establishment before the January date?
In early 2014.
And when you visited the establishment in early 2014,
What, if anything, do you recall about a wall being there?
There was a wall there.
so you saw it yourself,
I had to walk around it.
okay? And in the photo in Exhibit A3, picture number, I believe it was 3.
That was 2 you
Two.
said before.
Oh, sorry, picture number 2, I'm sorry. It's my fault. A3, picture number 2. Was the wall present when you were there on January 17th, or had it been removed?
It had been removed.
Now, did you happen to know if there were any permits pulled to do that work from the Department of Housing, Community Development?
At the time, no.
But afterwards, when you conducted your investigation, what, if anything, did you find out about permits being pulled for that particular wall?
I didn't, I discovered that there hadn't been any permits pulled for that location.
Okay. No further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, can I just ask you a couple of questions here? I'm a little bit confused, but as usually most of the time. You issued a notice for violation of 4.18 on January 17, 2015. And it says at approximately 12:30 a.m. On your report, you said it's at 1 a.m. So what was the time that you were in there?
I was in there at 1 a.m. I didn't write that report that you're looking
You
at.
didn't do the violation report?
No, I didn't do
Who's
that.
in charge of doing violation reports, if you know?
It's not myself.
Not you?
No.
Wasn't me, Mom, yeah, I know. And when you went in, the door was not able to be opened, is that correct?
It was locked from the inside.
Okay. But there was somebody standing at the door.
There was a security guard standing on the inside of the door.
Okay. And besides, when you went in, there was just, you saw some people dancing. Is that
I'm
right?
confused. At what date are we talking?
January,
Well, I thought we dropped January 20th.
July.
July we dropped.
Those are all the charges.
Oh, I see. So that's why this is here.
Yes,
So which one are we on?
that's one of my question here, because the docket says January 17th, 2015. The report says January 16th, 2015.
Your answer?
Your Honor, I have the investigation report in my hand. It's January 17, 2015.
Well, how's it any different than this that was given to me?
I mean, the date's different.
That's exactly the point. Mine says January 16th. Yours says January 17th. What was the date? One says 12:30, one says 1 o'clock.
It's January 17, 2015. And I think there may be an explanation for this. If that's the explanation you're looking for, right?
I'm saying is that sometimes we have the classic and often fatal variance between the allegata and the et probata.
If you want to ask Chief Inspector Jones.
What I'm saying is,
No, I think we better straighten it out on the reports. What are we doing here? Come on.
So we're looking at, I guess, count 3, January 17, 2015, and count 4, January 7, 2015. Are we in agreement with that? That we're looking at those two counts?
and they both say 12:30 a.m.
They both say, right, they both say approximately 12:30 a.m., okay? That's what they say. So approximate means about around 12:30 a.m., which could include 1 a.m.
But-
So if that's what the issue is, but you're asking why this says.
My report says January 16th.
Correct. Now,
All right, now what report did you
It's
got?
the report that was given to me by Discovery.
correct. Now, I think this can be explained if we can just ask Chief Jones. Chief Jones, could you please explain the discrepancy in reports?
The discrepancy is that we started off on the Friday evening of the 16th, and it went into the 17th during the inspections. And at which time, I notified council that we needed to change because of the change in date, going from one day overnight into the next day.
So originally, did you produce a report that said January 16th?
Originally, I produced a report that said January 16th, and I corrected my report and handed it off to council.
When?
Like 2 or 3 days later.
Well, when? About?
Oh, from this incident, from the 17th, it was like maybe 2 or 3 days later because it was the weekend. It was like the 20th.
So he had one that said the 16th and one that said the 17th.
And if I can explain a little bit more, because this was postponed, this was originally, I think, in early January, there were some incidences we had charged. We postponed it for these extra matters, and that's why maybe potentially we may have gotten the wrong the wrong investigation report, because this investigation report was included in the file as the amended version.
Is that a question? I mean-
Yeah, what is that?
I'm just a statement. I'm proffering, I'm clarifying as to the reason for the
But you mentioned
mistake.
police report, there was no police.
There was an investigation report.
All right. Are you finished?
Well, you know,
I mean,
Mr. Kudinski raised the issue, so I
I
don't.
just raised the issue that I was given January 16th at 1 o'clock. The report says January 17th at 12:30 a.m. There was a discrepancy there, and I,
Do you have anything you wish to say or any questions?
I'm going to ask him. When you went in there, how long did it take them to open the door for you?
Oh, after I knocked, the security guard turned around because he had his back to the door. And he opened the door as soon as he saw my identification.
And they were all cooperative when you came there, is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah,
And they looked like everybody was having a nice time,
yeah.
you know, and they were playing some music and they were dancing. I guess it was Latino music. Basically?
Yes.
Okay. And along with that, tell me what kind of license you got to have for a hookah. Do you know if there really is one?
Well, there is a state-issued license, trader's license for hookah.
And it wouldn't be included among the regular trader's license, is that what you're saying?
Correct.
And you're saying if you went to the trader's license
and you told them you want a license for a hookah, they give you a special license that says all you were going to do was hookah. They would give you a hookah.
Correct.
So you're saying that it is illegal to have a hookah without having a trader's license that says hookah.
Correct.
Okay. And along with that, you said there were 2 people that were smoking the hookah pipes?
I saw one myself.
Oh, okay. And when you came in and you, along with the other inspector, they fully cooperated, they shut the things down, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And along with that, you didn't see the DJ doing anything, is that correct?
Like I said, I didn't see a DJ because I went
Didn't see
straight
it.
toward the bar area.
Okay. You're familiar with the iPods and iPhones they put into to disco things, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Did you see one of those there?
I didn't go
You didn't
towards
go-
the DJ box then.
Now, you mentioned about this wall. Prior to this date, when was the last time that you were in there? I think you said something about January 2014. Would that
I
have been-
said early 2014. I didn't give a date
No,
because I can't tell you a
January,
date.
February?
I can't tell you a date. I'm not privy to that information anymore.
Well, anyway, let's take as given that the license was transferred, in this case, to the current licensee on October of 2014. Were you in there after that?
On this date,
Yeah, but not, that was the first time you were in there after the license was transferred.
correct,
So you don't know what it looked like when the license was transferred.
correct.
Okay. And you have no idea how long that wall wasn't there?
Correct, I don't.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Well, are you saying in effect that this licensee had nothing to do with the removal of the wall? What is
I'm
your
saying
point?
that he has no information that this licensee had anything to do with the removal of the wall. He said he was in there in early of 2014, let's give him up to March, let's be charitable about the whole thing. This license was transferred in October to this licensee. He was not in there from October, from the date of the transfer, until January when he went in there, and that's when he saw the wall wasn't there. He does not know when the wall was removed, whether it was done by this licensee or the prior licensee. That's what I'm trying to say.
I just have a couple questions.
Well, I'm just going to
Oh, I
couple
didn't-
more.
I thought you were
Yeah.
done.
No,
Sorry, I
I'm-
apologize.
All right, and you went into the kitchen, your pictures, right?
Yes, I did.
And they have stoves, and they have walk-in boxes, and they have all of the utensils and so forth.
Correct.
And it's not unusual to go into a restaurant sometime, and then they have big ovens in there too, don't they? It looks like a pizza ovens from Malona's.
Well, he's indicating it wasn't operating. Isn't
No, I understand that. But it's not unusual if you go into a restaurant after 12 or 12:30 at night that the food operation starts shutting down.
It was already shut down. It
Okay.
wasn't just shutting
But
down.
you weren't in there before that.
No, not prior
Okay.
to us going
All right.
in, no.
I have no further questions.
Any redirect?
Just a couple. Now, when you went in there, you previously testified that you saw a number of people behind the bar, correct?
Yes.
How many of those people did you see?
It was approximately 5 to 10 females behind the bar.
And once you saw those individuals behind the bar, did you speak with the bar manager to see if those individuals were employees or not?
Yeah.
And what did the bar manager or individual say?
I asked him for employee records, and he said he didn't have them at this location. They were at another location.
And what is the responsibility of an owner in regards to employee records?
But they are supposed to keep accurate employee records on the premises at all times.
And he could not produce them?
Correct.
Did he state he ever kept his records on premise?
When I spoke to him, he said he never kept them on scene there.
Okay. Indulgence. No further questions for this
All right,
witness.
but when we go back, I don't want to beat this thing to death, but he was only a licensee in there since October, is that correct? According to your records.
According to records, yes.
Okay. And along with that, you didn't take the names of any of those people that were behind the bar to determine who they were and whether they were employees.
No, I did not, because he had no records to show me, so
Yeah.
it wasn't no
But you
need.
didn't ask the people,
I
hey,
asked.
Tom, are you an employee, and what are you doing behind a bar giving them a beer?
Well, I didn't think that anybody could just walk behind his bar with him standing back there with him.
But there's a law against that?
Well, it would be if you aren't a employee of the establishment.
If I told you there's no such law, would you,
Then you would be basically stealing from the bar.
if you were doing anything that was wrong?
If you were walking behind the bar, going in the cash register.
But you
and
didn't see that happen.
I saw them serving people alcohol.
And along with that, when you, but you didn't take the names of anybody, that's what I'm trying to say.
No, I did not. I already said that.
Oh, but you did get the name of the licensee, Mr. Marino.
Correct.
All right. And as indicated, you said that he was cooperative with you, and so was the security people.
Yes.
Did they tell you any kind of special event was going on that night?
No.
Did you ask at all?
No.
But they would seem to be pretty happy, people in there.
I don't know whether they were or weren't.
And, well, they were lively,
They were just out partying,
they were dancing.
dancing, drinking, hey, like anybody would do.
Do you think that dancing is illegal?
According to the live entertainment rules, it
Objection,
is.
Your Honor. He's asking for a legal opinion of my...
I'm asking, as a chief inspector who enforces the rules and regulations, I think you should have that knowledge.
I think you're right. I'm going to reverse myself. You may answer.
What was the question again?
Was it, do you think that dancing is illegal?
It's illegal according to the live entertainment laws of Baltimore City and the Baltimore City Liquor Board.
They weren't charged with anything with the Baltimore City, is that correct? Laws.
No, because I don't have that ability to charge them criminally.
And when you say illegal, you mean not permitted, not that you could go to...
Not permitted
All
by
right,
the Baltimore City
but not
Liquor Board.
necessarily illegal.
Correct.
Okay, fine. I think I made my point.
No further questions.
Oh,
I'm going
next-
to recall one. Officer Downing? Just very quickly, I know we're backing up a bit, but this goes to December 14th. The victim, Cesar Gomez?
Yes.
I just want to know, did you ever speak with him about if he was drinking or not that night?
Yes, I did.
And what did he tell you in regards to his drinking?
He said that
Same objection, because he's not the one that talked to him.
Overruled.
he had been drinking heavily inside the bar.
And did he seem extremely intoxicated? What was his level of intoxication to you?
It seemed very high to me.
Now, you've been a police officer how long?
4 years.
And as a police officer, did you receive any training in identifying intoxication of individuals?
Yes, I did.
And what kind of training you receive?
Standard field sobriety testing.
Mm-hmm. And based on your training, and have you done any DUI stops?
Yes, I have.
And how many DUI stops?
I'd say approximately 10.
Okay. And in those DUI stops, have you been able to determine if individuals are intoxicated or not?
Yes.
And based on your observations, based on your training and experience, did you believe the victim, I think it was Mr. Gomez, to be intoxicated?
Yes.
And he did state how long had he been drinking at Las Tajitas?
He didn't advise me that.
Did he say he was served in Las Tajitas?
Yes.
He said he'd been drinking in Las
He'd been
Tajitas.
drinking inside Las Tajitas.
Okay. And from on a scale of 1 to 10, how intoxicated would you say he is?
I'm going to object. He's got some factual background here.
Stain, let's get on, come on.
Sorry. What was Mr. Cesar Gomez's state of dress?
His dress or his shirt was torn and disheveled,
What was the condition of his speech?
slurred,
What were the condition of his eyes?
glossed over.
Okay. And if the individual was standing or sitting, what was his level of coordination?
He was wobbly.
Okay. No further questions.
All right.
So the first time you had seen him, he was sitting up on the corner of Eastern Avenue in Macon, correct?
Yes.
Sitting on the curb. He was seated.
Yes.
And you saw that he had some facial injuries.
Correct.
All right. You don't know what you didn't give him any field sobriety tests with regard to nystagmus and so forth, did you?
I did not.
Did you take any breathalyzer? You need a PVT breathalyzer?
No.
You could have.
No, I don't have that.
You don't have those? They don't
No.
give those to you? They don't give you cameras? They don't give you that? Along with that, you said, did you make him, you didn't do the heel to toe or anything like that? Is that
No,
correct?
that's
You
correct.
weren't concerned with that. It was, you were concerned with getting him some treatment. Is that correct? And finding out who the perpetrators were?
I was concerned with getting him treatment.
So how long he was in Las Tajitas and what exactly he had to drink, you have no information on other than he said he was in there drinking.
Correct.
Okay. And when you say that he, was he coherent when he talked to you? Because you didn't talk to him. He was speaking in Spanish. Is that correct?
He spoke mostly in Spanish. He could speak a little bit of English.
Okay. And you talked to him in English or in Spanish?
In English.
Okay. And the other officer talked to him in Spanish?
Yes.
Okay. I have no further questions.
All right, call your next witness.
Inspector Chronicles.
Inspector Crown Close, Baltimore City Liquor Board.
How long have you been a liquor board inspector?
Year and a half.
And what are your duties as a liquor board inspector?
Routine special investigations.
Okay, and are you familiar with the location, Las Tajitas, located at 422 through 426 Macon Avenue?
Yes.
Okay, and how are you familiar with it?
I grew up in the neighborhood, so it's always been there, or it was a restaurant, then it became Las Tajitas.
And in your duties as a liquor board inspector, how are you familiar with the establishment?
I've done routines there, complaints
Okay.
that I've had to go to.
And did you ever have an opportunity to pass Las Tajitas in the summer or fall of 2014?
Yes.
Okay. And when you passed Las Tajitas, did you happen to take some pictures?
Yes.
Now, I know, if I can show you what's been marked, and this will be, I believe it will be exhibit number 4. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'm showing you what's been marked as exhibit number 4. Could you tell me what those are?
They're pictures from 426 South Macon Street.
Wait a minute, you got some interference. Okay, go ahead, so I can hear.
Can you tell me what those pictures are?
These pictures, every time I do a routine inspection, if it's a complaint, when I first get there, I take a picture of the outside of the business. So,
That's what that picture is of?
well, no, well, from back then, yes.
Okay. And so what were the circumstances that brought you to this bar to take these pictures, if you can recall?
I'm going to object, it's outside the period that we're talking about. He's talking about the summer.
This is relevant, Your Honor.
Well,
I'm
you're
sorry.
saying it's relevant.
Okay.
I mean, can I say why it may not
Okay.
be relevant? I mean, you know, this was in the summer of 2014, prior to this licensee being a licensee.
Well, you can develop it on cross-exam as whether the place has changed since the summer. Well, all we're doing is showing the outside of the place. Overruled at this time, depending upon the rest of the testimony.
Now, do you happen to recall when you took those pictures, just so we can clarify?
No.
Was it mid to late last year?
These pictures were taken around summertime,
Okay. And what are those pictures of?
the outside.
Okay. Now, if you flip through the pictures near the end, what do you see? I think this would be picture, you can count it off, let them know.
So from right here.
So I'm now showing, this is exhibit number 3, and this would be picture, this would be, I think, 5, 6, okay. Now, if you can show the board what that is right there, what are those pictures of? What are those observations you're making?
There are pictures from Las Tajitas, and it looks like there's construction going on outside.
Okay, and can you,
I'm going to object.
can you flip and show?
Wait a minute.
Oh, sorry.
You're saying it looks like construction is going on outside. That's not what the picture shows.
And then there's another one.
Well,
There's a door.
just a
Let me
minute,
talk.
wait a minute. I don't know why we're having such a terrible time in this case, getting the facts. Now, what is your point of showing this picture? What do you proffer?
I'm proffering that there's work being done on the interior of the bar, but
Okay.
we
And
see
that
the...
this picture somehow...
And these
or other
pictures show that there's work, some kind of work going on inside. There's no exterior work being done. It's just cutting
Well,
actually...
first of all, we have to know when the picture was taken and what it shows.
Correct. The Inspector Chronicles cannot recall when he took the pictures. He thinks they're in
Well,
midsummer.
ask him questions, don't testify.
Okay, I won't. Do you recall when you took the pictures?
Well, the 3 pictures, the construction ones, were given to me by a citizen in the neighborhood.
Well, that's a further objection, because he didn't take the pictures.
Yeah, sustained.
These ones I took. The ones in
Okay, well, let's go to
construction
ones he took. Sustained on the one he didn't take that was given to him by a person in the neighborhood.
Strike those pictures, Your Honor. Your Honor, I believe that at the time Inspector Chronicles took those pictures. Strike those pictures, Your Honor. No further questions for this witness.
Any questions?
Just very briefly, you heard the chief inspector, you were with him, is that correct?
I'm sorry.
You were with the chief inspector in January?
Yes.
Do you know whether it was the 16th or the 17th?
It was the 16th. We started work Friday, we started work Friday, which was the 16th, and it went into Saturday morning, the 17th.
Okay. So when you were at this establishment, you were there on,
It had gone from Friday night into Saturday morning, which was the 16th.
and it would have been, at what time would you say?
The 17th, I'm sorry, the 17th. Around 1
Okay.
a.m.
And prior to, you indicated that you were doing routine inspections?
Yes.
All right, and is it normal you do routine inspections at 1 o'clock in the morning?
Objection.
No, no rule.
We've started to do routine inspections this past couple weeks.
And you, last couple of weeks?
Yes.
Okay. And would it be fair to say that the information that was given by the chief inspector, that when he went in, people were cooperative and they stopped doing the dancing? Did you see them doing dancing?
Yes.
All right. And how many people did you say were dancing?
Between 5 and 10.
All right. And did you were able to determine whether there was any kind of special event that was going on?
No.
If you didn't, I mean, that's fine.
No.
But in any event, once you talk with the licensee, and that's your neighborhood.
Correct.
As Ed Smith would say, it's your hood there. They were cooperative, correct?
Yes.
I have no further questions.
Anything else?
No.
Any other witnesses?
No.
All right. Be glad to hear from you.
I make a motion for dismissal.
As to which ones, tell me.
Let's start on the 14th. The problem we have on the 14th is that we have an individual who supposedly was assaulted, but who did the main assaulting? When they found him, he was not in the establishment.
I think he said he was.
No, but when they found him, he was on the curb.
No, but he said to the investigating officer that he was in the establishment when he was assaulted the first time.
But he doesn't know who it was, and they went everyone back in to find out who it was.
I understand.
And the main assault took place outside.
Well, that's your
Individuals
characterization.
that we don't even know who were in the place. And when they first saw him, he was sitting on the curb at Eastern Avenue and Macon Street.
That's what he testified.
And then the picture shows, they pointed it out. So I think that would, that's a fair where it does. So how the establishment would have anything to do with that? The only thing that you have in the case is, even if you take what you're saying and what they're saying, not I'm saying you personally, is that there was something happened in the establishment. The security people removed him, and he was outside. After he was outside, he was then assaulted by two other individuals whose cases were null pros that had nothing to do with this place. Second of all, you have a violation of 4.02.
Wait a minute, let's on the first one. I think your characterizations is mostly fair, and there's more than sufficient evidence for me to find that a bar that is responsible for the conduct of its customers. May I emphasize that again? You've been down here long enough to hear me say it over and over again. And while I'm not in any way insinuating that the bartender hurt this man or had anything to do with it, he's responsible to run his business in such a way that he becomes responsible if something goes wrong inside as by a customer. It's clear in this case that the evidence shows that that's exactly what happened here. So I find responsibility for that one. I go to the next one.
Well, you find it clear that when he saw something, how he acted responsibly and removed them, or that he did something other than that? See, that's what I'm
No,
trying
he
to...
was assaulted inside the bar
And then
by
he
somebody inside the bar.
And then he removed him,
And then they removed him.
which I don't know what else he could have done.
Well, that's mitigation.
Well, I know we differ on that. Okay. And then on 4.02, you have inebriates. Won't be the first time. You have inebriates.
I have to laugh at that one.
Inebriates and drug addicts. There's no.
Now we're on 402.
Yeah, it's on the same date. There's no evidence that there were any drug addicts here, anything to do with drugs. And the charge as given to him is in a conjunctive.
Yes, but there's evidence of the inebriation.
But
And he was so drunk, he couldn't actually almost be responsible for his
Well,
conduct.
that's not exactly what he said, but I mean, if
No,
that
that's
you,
true.
But
you know what I mean.
But your charge is in the conjunctive, not the disjunctive. So if you give a charge that's in the conjunctive, you have to prove both sides of it. And if you don't, then you could have easily charged him just with inebriates, but you didn't.
No, I disagree with you. I
Okay.
find the responsibility here. The evidence is clear. He's drunk. He shouldn't have been served, and that you can draw the reasonable conclusion that the bartenders or employees of this establishment provided him with the alcohol, which put him in the condition that they found him in. Go ahead, the next one. So responsibility on
I'm down.
both the
I'm
first.
down 2 for 2 so far. As far as I got some testimony as to the January 17th.
Now, you're arguing date.
That's the second two charges.
Yes,
Yeah.
I find that there's no question in my mind that I believe the testimony of both the chief inspector and the inspector, and it's very easy to run from one day to the other. I don't find there was any conspiracy to change the state. I am very, very particular about making sure that you and your clients are sufficiently advised of when something happened. And as you know, I dismiss these cases when I'm convinced that you have not been properly advised. I think in this case, the evidence is very clear that you could reasonably produce a defense based upon the facts that are written in these charges. Therefore, I find you responsible for both of them.
Well, and then I guess we want to hear about mitigation here.
Yes.
All right.
I want to first ask if my commissioners
Well,
have
if
any
I find guilty,
questions.
what kind of case got to put on?
Just 1 minute. I want to see if my commissioners have any questions with respect to facts.
I have none at this time.
No question, but just to make it very, very clear, Rule 4.02 reads, in the substance, no licensee shall sell or furnish alcoholic beverages to any person under the influence of alcohol or narcotic drugs, or who is disorderly in manner, or to any person known to be a habitual drunkard or user of narcotic drugs.
Except-
So I think that clarifies, and the ampersand is only in the title.
No, but I'm saying, I don't disagree, that's what the rule says, but that's not how they were charged.
The charge just recites the
Well,
rule.
well, you know,
The caption.
in essence, let me,
And I don't want to get that.
no, I'm
Let me
gonna-
say that I have instructed my, number one, that we're not going to, in the charges, recite every single issue that may be enclosed in the number. And when we give the charges to the so-called obligees, that is the licensee, it's only important to identify the name of the charge and the date and the time and the place, and that the rest of it can be proved by facts. That's been my policy.
well, you know, I
I'm
just,
not going to repeat all these things
I
every
just don't
time.
get
but
charged with
every
somebody,
member-
they
every-
said somebody
wait a minute.
feloniously.
When I'm talking,
I'm
you have
sorry.
to give way. We're not going to repeat every section of the code on every case. We'd be here the rest of the year. All right, now, we're going to go now, since there's no more questions, to the issue of,
Your Honor, before, I know that they haven't had an opportunity to put on their case yet, so I don't know if they're going to put on a case or put on. a
You're
defense
absolutely right.
Before any
well, he said mitigation.
judgment is found, I'm just asking before any verdict is reached, Your Honor, please allow them out.
Well, actually, it's my fault. He said he was ready to go to mitigation, but do you wish to put on a?
No, I'll go to mitigation, 'cause I
All
know
right,
what
so
the outcome
we're
is. you
okay.
know.
So we're
Okay,
clear,
I
we're
just
going,
want the record to be clear.
All right, now we've had the questions of the commissioners. We'll go to mitigation.
You know,
And I'm going to go straight to you.
Yeah, in essence, and I've talked to the
Now, let's
license.
go record. What's the record here?
It has none.
No record?
Has
No.
no record.
that's, he said brand new
Brand new owner.
licensee.
Yeah.
No record.
No record.
Well, that's a
and-
good start.
And that 3.12 with regard to the assault, almost everything happened to this fellow happened outside and have, other than what he said happened, you know, the one punch inside that he was removed, and the people that they saw outside running up and down the street there's no evidence that it had anything to do with this place. There's 5 or 6 different other places that are within close proximity to this place that I gave you the pictures. The inebriates and the drug addicts, I know what you feel, I feel otherwise, but I don't think there was any evidence of how much he had to be. He said he'd been drinking in there. The officer said he was extremely intoxicated. Believe me, these officers know how to do the nystagmus, do all that. He was probably punched by these people outside. You know, it's hard to get something from somebody when you don't speak good English and he's been punched in the face. You know, you're not going to give him all these tests. The illegal conduct, I've talked to the client, he understands. I hate to say it's a cultural thing, but you know, when they were having a party there for somebody, it was a birthday or something, and they were playing something, that's why they locked the door. They were finishing at the end of the night, and they were just, you know, happy to be there, and, you know, and they were dancing. I can't believe dancing, everything that happens in the world has got to be the worst thing that happens, and I don't think it's illegal conduct. It's probably not permitted conduct. It doesn't make it illegal from the point of view, is you're not going to put you in jail because you were dancing. You know, just have a guy come up bar, was dancing Harry. He just came dancing through the door. He danced, went to the men's room, danced back out again. I guess I'd be convicted every time he came in.
Well,
He just danced.
You know, and I know, that I can't reform the law into what we may think it should be. And my job in the past and now is to carry out the law that exists on the books.
And
And I will have to say that it's my personal opinion that the dance law was created as a result of the desire of the city to make money on additional cost of licenses. I don't think, my personal thing, I don't think it's a good idea because it's harmless. It used to be all the bars like you knew that you represented years ago would have a couple of people dancing without any trouble with a light music and so forth and not causing any harm to the community. But times have changed. And now we have loud music. We have, at this place, we have a hookah. We have people dancing to music that could be heard and so forth, according to the reports that have been submitted here. And the world is changing. And maybe the liquor board law should be changed too to reflect the kind of offense it is. But that's not what's before me. So I'm finding him responsible for violating the entertainment law, which the license does not allow dancing. The question now is to go back to the issue of punishment.
And when I've explained to him, he knows that he cannot do that. He has security, as you know, for the place.
It's all good.
And it's not a question where you have a big community, people coming down here. And Inspector Tom knows that in Greektown, they would come out in droves. This individual lives there. He lives on the second floor. He's been there 2.5 years, so he's
That's
a member of
good,
the
too. Glad to
community.
hear that.
He knows the people that next door. He knows that he's got to keep the records on the premises. I told him he had problems with records disappearing for employees. I said to him, Juan, keep one set of records in your office and keep another set at the establishment.
And that means more than a name.
No, what it is, you used to ask them having social security numbers. Now it's against the law to ask for that.
No, not social security numbers.
I know, but that's what the law used to say with the liquor board before.
Well, you and I know that
No.
federal law does not order you to provide the social security number,
Yeah.
except in certain specified occasions.
And I think that, he's trying to do the best he can. In that whole area that's up in Hollandtown, if somebody would have told you, 10, 15 years ago, there would be 4 or 5 Latino places, restaurants, and bars up there, you would have said, then that'll never happen. But from Broadway on up, they're doing, he understands, one had security, there's a parking lot across the street from me, he can only do so much with that, it belongs to the city. I think it belongs to the MTA maybe, but it's not his. He can't have hookah, although there's a big dispute on hookah. I just told him, forget the hookah, and keep the records, and like I said, he's here in front of you the first time.
Anything else?
Yeah.
All right, with respect to punishment. I am going to take into consideration that he has no record, but I also will observe the fact that he's just in this business. In other words, I don't want to say it, but he hasn't had time to create a record, and I hope that's a wrong statement on my behalf. So the sentence that I'm about to pass is a warning sentence. Don't come back with any of these problems, because no more dancing, no more music, and responsibility for the conduct of his customers, which I fully hold. I'm going to not close them in my recommendation. I don't know what my fellow commissioners will say. And I'm going to charge them $1,000 on each charge. Am I allowed to do that? Am I over?
It's the first time.
500.
500 on each one. 500 on each one.
500 on each one.
All right, that's my decision. Commissioners? I have 4 charges, is that correct?
Correct.
So I will go along with that, because it's the first time you've been here. Also, because you live on the premises, I think you're highly incentivized to
Yes,
get
I agree with that, too.
control of the situation. You've gotten a great education today, and it sounds like your attorney has advised you very well about what you need to do going forward, and I know that you will do that. So I concur with the chairman.
I concur.
All right, you have a decision. How much time do you need to
30
pay the
days.
fine?
30 days.
30 days you have.
That's the last case?
No,
We've
unfortunately.
got one more, we've actually got 2 more,
I have 2 more.
but they're short, they should be short.
I would love help.
Okay.
They should be
I was
short.
just going to fall on my face, but they saved me.
Hey, Tom, what do you think I
Ready to
would?
go, let's move.
Sure am.
He's ready.
Ready, call the case.
You're finished, aren't you?
No, I've got
Two more.
calling, you have, which one do you have?
Whichever one you want.
Calling GS Locker Incorporated, Yu Sun Bay, trading as Biddle Liquors. GS Locker, do you have that?
2100 Biddle Ave, Biddle Street.
2100 Biddle, East Biddle.
All right, come up. Who's you? And your name, sir?
My name is Unsu Bae.
Are you the licensee?
Yeah.
You're the license. All right. Do we have any agreement between this person?
No, this individual checked in a little bit late, John. I didn't get a chance to talk with them.
You want to talk to her for a minute?
Give me
Him?
just 1 minute.
Okay.
Indulgence.
So we have a minor bond. This is the kid.
Cadet.
So this is the cadet right here. Right here, he's the one who purchased the alcohol. Here's a picture of him. He's not 21 years old, so you can't, serve people who are 21 years old. We could go forward today. We could admit to the charges that he was served when he was under 21, or we could have a trial, and I can put them on, and we can, move forward. It's your choice. What would you like to do? Will you admit? Okay, or do you want to have a trial? You don't want to have a trial. Do you want to admit? Okay. Your Honor?
All right, you understand that, ma'am, sir? Ma'am. All right, yeah, I'm going to re-advise her that you have a right to a complete hearing of open testimony of all the witnesses, which would give you the opportunity to ask them questions. But however, you've decided to accept the facts as our prosecutor, so-called, is going to present in the evidence, which will show, in effect, that a minor received a alcoholic beverage at your place who was below the age of 21. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
And then, of course, I'm going to allow you to say whatever you wish to say on your behalf, in mitigation or on any other subject. All right, go ahead. Present your case, bench your facts.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, on December 17, 2014, approximately 10:21 p.m., Baltimore City Police Department conducted an underage alcohol investigation at Biddle Liquors, located at 2100 East Biddle Street, Baltimore City, State of Maryland. Police Cadet Jones, standing to my far left, who was under the age of
21, entered the establishment and purchased a 375 milliliter New Amsterdam peach vodka from the bartender store clerk, which cost $7.89. Cadet Jones used a $20 bill that was marked by police, purchased the alcoholic beverage, received change from the bartender. The cadet then communicated with police, responded to the scene. Police entered the establishment, notified the bartender store clerk that an alcoholic beverage had just been sold to a minor and would be reported to the Baltimore City Liquor Board. The police then recovered the marked currency and returned both the alcoholic beverage to the bartender and a change that was provided to the cadet by the establishment. May all events occur in Baltimore City. May I please, before I finish my case, approach the licensee?
Go ahead.
I'm now showing you what's marked as Exhibit Number 1. It's a copy of the police report written by Detective Akawande, who's present here and can testify today as to what happened. I'm going to move this into evidence. If you'd like to take a look at it, you can take a look at it now.
Yes.
Okay? Not a problem? Indulgence, Your Honor. If you'd like to read it, because I'm going to put it into evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll show you. This is what happened. I'm going to move this. You can take a look at it just to see if that's what happened, and then I'm going to put it into
It's in
evidence.
location.
Right here. You see? This is what happened.
Yeah. On December 17, 2004.
You don't have to read out loud, you can just read it.
1021.
Actually, here's a copy. Here's your own copy.
Is the same one?
Yeah, you can keep that. I'm going to just move this into evidence. Exhibit number 1.
All right, Exhibit 1.
I'm now showing what's marked as Exhibit number 2. This is a copy of a photograph of the cadet with the alcohol. Okay? Moving to evidence, Exhibit number 2.
All right,
Copy of
Exhibit number 2.
cadet who had the alcohol.
Mark it, mark Exhibit number 2.
Your Honor, all events occur in Baltimore City, State of Maryland. That will be our case.
All right. Now I find that you are responsible for serving a minor, and I'd be glad to hear from you, whatever you want to tell me, and the commissioners on my sides.
You can say anything you want to the commissioners right now. Here's your chance. Do you want to say anything?
Yeah.
How long have you been, let me see if I can help you a little bit in the sense of finding out about you. How long have you been the licensee here?
Almost 16 years.
16
16
years?
years ago. Yeah.
Since when?
Maybe 2000.
And in that time, you had one previous violation in 2008 of serving a minor. Can you tell us why this happened? This time and that time? What's going on? What's going wrong?
This is maybe a tire or a sick.
Somebody was very tired or sick.
You? Or
That was my husband,
Her husband. Her husband was tired, sick.
is he still with you?
not me. Just I live with 8 o'clock here.
On that day?
Yeah.
Does your husband still participate in the management of this bar? So on these occasions, was it him on both occasions? Or was it him and somebody else?
Just him.
Just him? Is he still operating? Yeah, still helping you out? What have you done to prevent this from happening again?
Do you understand the question?
Oh, yeah, little bit. Not 100%, just a bit.
What, is it going to happen again?
No more.
Why?
She believed God, no more vibration.
Do you understand that it's your and your husband's responsibility, no matter who is working there, to make sure that that the bar operates legally, which means that it cannot sell alcohol to people under the age of 21. And you must take protections in your way of management to make sure that that does not happen. Do you understand that? Now, is there anything you want to ask the board?
No.
All right, I'm ready for decision. Commissioners have any questions?
No.
No questions?
All right, I find that some sympathy should be given in this case. While there is a prior happening, I'm going to use the fine system rather than closure, but telling you that this is the last time that I personally, as a commissioner, will not close you if this happens again. If it does happen again, I'm going to close you. Do you understand that? This time, the fine, since you have a prior record, will be $2,000. And how much time do you need to pay it?
How much time? How many days do you need?
30 days.
30 days? You need a
30
month?
days. 30 days she has.
I don't know.
Sir?
I concur. Ms. Ferguson.
No, he's not very talkative. I concur. I agree.
All right, do you understand that you have 30 days to pay a $2,000 fine?
Here's your-
And ma'am, don't come back. All right?
Okay.
You understand it? All right, you may go over here, sir, ma'am, and make your arrangements.
I already gave it to her.
Yeah,
Your
okay.
Honor.
She's all
May
set.
may I call the next
Wait a
witness?
minute. Wait for our reporter. Go.
Calling Gloff Incorporated, Sung Ku Kang Mi, Cha Park, and Yuan Im Yang, trading as Oxford Tavern.
Everybody here?
Coming up, Your Honor, yes.
Have you had a chance to talk to him?
No, I haven't had a chance to speak to licensees. Court's indulgence. Okay, how you doing? All right. Yeah. Oh, sorry, this was 2014. When did you? When did you buy that? When did you get the license? Okay. Okay, all right. I'll have to verify that. But, so you have one prior here, is that what you're saying? So we can go forward today, and it could be an admission. I want to show you, this is a picture, okay? This is, you see this guy right here, see the gentleman over there in the jacket? That's him right there holding the alcohol. Okay, so we could have a trial today, and I can put on my witnesses and they'll testify, or we could do an admission. And an admission is where you admit that this is what happened. Or you can contest it. It's your right to have that option. So if you want to let the board know what you want to do, we can go forward. Or, we can have a trial. And so what would you like to do? You admit? Your Honor, I spoke with both the individuals, seem to understand exactly what's going on here right now, and both are open to admitting the incident, Your Honor.
All right, since your advice was off the record, I am going to explain it again. You have a right to hear all the facts. By admitting it, you mean that the facts that he's going to read in the record that in effect you sold to a minor are proven. And then I'm going to ask you if you wish to say anything on your behalf with respect to what I should do about it and my fellow commissioners. Do you understand that? And I'll be glad to hear what either one of you have to say, or if you have questions. Do you understand your rights?
Yeah, I understand.
You understand your rights, ma'am? All right, I find that he voluntarily has admitted the facts, and I'll hear from you with respect to the facts.
And just, what's your name? Why don't you speak into the mic and spell it?
Song Woo Kang.
And who's the licensees? Both. Okay, go ahead. Produce your facts.
Your Honor, I have just a note, I have one individual testify as to punishment after I present my
I'd
factual.
be glad to hear from.
Thank you, Your Honor, just wanted to make note of that. On December 18th, 2014, approximately 12:16
a.m., the Baltimore City Police Department conducted an underage alcohol investigation at Oxford Tavern located at 1741 West North Avenue in Baltimore City, Maryland. Police Cadet Jones, who was under the age of 21, entered the establishment and purchased a 375 milliliter New Amsterdam peach vodka from the bartender store clerk using a $20 bill that was marked by police. He purchased the alcoholic beverage, received change from the bartender. Cadet then communicated with police who responded to the scene. The police entered the establishment, notified the bartender store clerk that an alcoholic beverage had just been sold to a minor. It would be reported to the Baltimore City Liquor Board. The police then recovered the marked currency and returned both the alcoholic beverage to the bartender and the change that was provided to the cadet by the establishment. Your Honor, may I please approach the licensees?
Yes.
I'm now showing you what's going to be marked as Exhibit Number 1. This is a copy of the police report that actually just documents exactly what I said, okay? That the youth went in there, purchased alcohol, and was not carded, or no identification was asked for. Moving into evidence, Exhibit Number 1. There's a copy of the police report. In this, I'm showing you Exhibit Number 2.
Mark it Exhibit 1.
This is
Exhibit
Exhibit
one.
Number 2. This is a copy of a photograph taken by the detective of the cadet with the alcohol in hand that he purchased at your store, in your store. Okay? I'm now moving into evidence Exhibit Number 2. This is a photograph of the cadet with the purchased
Exhibit
alcohol.
number 2.
Your Honor, all events occurred in Baltimore City, state of Maryland. That will be our case.
All right, I find that responsibility is that you did sell to a minor, and now I'd be glad to hear from you with respect to whatever you wish to tell me. And then I'm going to allow the commissioners to ask you questions.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do my best
Go
to
ahead,
sell,
sir.
not to sell.
Now, you've been here before.
For the bar violation.
Yes. And that was on October 16th last year. And we closed you for 3 days.
Yep.
And we have not had anything like that before, again, but we had that, and we have a previous minor violation in July.
The management did that.
Now, when did you take over?
August 12th, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm?
August 12th, 2014.
August 12th?
Yes, I just checked their license.
August 12th,
2014.
2014, owners. So that other minor was not theirs?
No, it was not.
Okay. So the thing you had before, and hasn't occurred again, is not having the bar open.
No.
Is that
no.
right? Now, what have you done to make sure that it doesn't happen again with respect to selling to a minor?
Yes, sir.
What?
First, I'm gonna teach an employee to recognize every single young person asking the ID, voter ID, and then.
And they might not be young looking. They may fool you. You've got to have you understand that?
Yes.
If they show you false identification, something that's not true, you are responsible. You've got to, it's tough. It's a tough law, but you are held responsible. So if you sell to a person under the age of 21, you violate the liquor laws of both Baltimore City and the state of Maryland.
Yes,
You understand that?
Yes, I understand.
And if you come back before this commission the punishment may be much heavier than today's. You
Yeah.
understand that?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, do you have any questions about that?
No questions.
Commissioners have any questions of the licensee?
No questions.
Ready for, anything else you wish to say?
No, sir.
All right, then, with respect to the fact that the previous minor violation was not yours, and you did have a 3-day suspension for what you did before.
Your Honor, I said
Oh, I
preliminarily.
forgot. I'm sorry. Come over. How could I forget you?
It's been a long day.
It
Thank you
has.
so much for having me. I'm Dr. Marvin Cheatham. I'm president of Matthew Henson Neighborhood Association. We will first say that we've had a plethora of problems.
You had a what?
From this location, a large number of problems emanating from this location. Very, very similar. I had a chance to even talk with the folks from Greenmount and North Avenue. Our problems are very similar.
Now, this is since they took over of August.
That's correct.
Mhm.
Loitering is a major problem. Constantly, this is a
Loitering, and what was the next word?
major problem with loitering.
Oh, major. Mhm.
Since it's a business that's open for 20 hours a day. They're 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. So we're having loitering all during those hours, drinking inside and outside, and I even experienced it today. I delivered a letter, as I did to all of our businesses in our community today. We continue to have problems with drinking inside and outside. Trash, including bottles and cans on this side of the street and across the street. Violence, including when we were here last, we had a homicide that started from that location, about 9 houses up from it, where an individual who was in the location was stabbed to death and died right there on North Avenue, a few feet up from the location. We can't say that we actually have seen the drug sales, but some of the major drug dealers are frequenting that area, so we can only assume that drugs are taking place. There are open containers coming out of the store. As I said, it's a 20-hour operation, which means we having liquor sold all up and down North Avenue where our neighborhood is located, and this one, 20 hours a day. We think the message that is being sent, unfortunately, to our community is, y'all gotta catch us.
Have you had any conversation with them?
They did come to one meeting after the last hearing that you had when you suspended them. They sent 2 employees who were at some point residents in our neighborhood, and basically they came charging me with being responsible for getting their business shut down. This was before a community meeting.
At the meeting?
At our meeting.
What'd they say?
The 2 employees, matter of fact, one brother lives next door to me. The other one has a daughter that used to live across the street. But they came in and said, well, Doc Cheatham's responsible for us being closed. And I had to say in front of my neighbors that, yes, I came to testify, but that was a decision of the board. I don't have that kind of power, which I did, because as y'all probably know, I like to close down at least half of them. We have called a meeting for the 21st.
Was it done in a hostile way, or what kind of?
Yes, yes. It's two of the employees. I'm assuming both are still there.
But was it these 2?
No, definitely not them. I think these are 2 very, very nice people, from what I've seen and gathered. But what is happening in their location is negatively affecting us. We have, even today, delivered letters to every business that we have. No ethnicity discrimination. Everybody that has a business has been asked to come to a meeting of all businesses, all liquor establishments, and all churches. The meeting is being hosted by the group that I testified in support of last week. Old Clubhouse is going to host the meeting.
Now,
We want to at least.
You want to tell them right now what you want from them?
We want you to be at the meeting. What we're going to be asking is what we have asked of all of our organizations, churches, businesses, as well as liquor establishments. 1, to stay in constant communication with us, as we will with you. We don't necessarily expect you to come to meetings because you're running a business, but we will give you every 3 months written documentations, as I have done since January of last year. Every 3 months, we will give you a newsletter. We even gave you a holiday card. We can't say it was a Christmas or Kwanzaa card, but we gave you that. We're going to communicate with you, but we expect you to join our association, to support it, and work with us, because it's not just your problem. We have problems with other bars as well. But we want the businesses to support the community and work with us with the problems that we have. We're happy to say we have a number of them that are now joining. Many seem to join after they have come here, but our problem to this board, this is the fourth business in less than 1 year that in our specific neighborhood that has been caught selling to minors. We have one of the highest percentages in the entire city of Baltimore with the uses of alcohol and alcohol establishments. So we were here last. No, I'm not responsible for what decisions are made, but we're asking that they be closed down again. We think the message needs to be sent to these other liquor establishments in our immediate area that it's not going to be a slap on the hand when you bring harm to our children. And that's what happens when you sell to children. Violence is very high in our neighborhood. Right now, we've already had 5 homicides. The only place in the city of Baltimore that's had more is Northeast Baltimore. Western District, Southwestern District, 5 homicides. There is a relationship between violence and the sale of liquor. So we're asking that they be suspended again and that they be encouraged. I know you can't make them come to our meeting, but one of their co-workers, one of their co-businesses, Old Clubhouse, which was formerly trading as Whispers, is actually hosting the meeting. We can have positive relationships with liquor establishments, but in this particular case, we're very displeased with this business. We're very displeased. They're
Let me
bringing
ask you a
harm and
question.
problems with us.
Did you hear what he has to, do you understand what he said?
Yes.
What do you have to say about it?
First of all, I was meeting, as he said, with one of the part-time workers who speak English very well, American. So I with him and at the meeting, but I want to just talk to him about the community at the time, but he was upset about. So I don't have time to talk with him at that moment. So I leave the meeting and then I run a business again. And then I just again I send my part-time worker who is American, speak English very well, and then send to him. And I just want to talk to him personally, but still. At that time, he was on, I think, on vacation, something trip or something like that. I heard.
Vacation? No, I can't be on vacation. I'm retired.
Maybe trip or something. I heard from him.
You're working harder now than you worked before.
Yeah, so I don't have time to talk with him.
And I think that's a part of the problem. We want to talk with you, but don't send me folks that have substance abuse that are basically trying to protect you and do harm to my community. You know, both of the employees that you sent that came with you, you know, I'm hoping they will get over the problems that they have, because we have a high abuse problem in our neighborhood. But you sent with you 2 individuals that have substance abuse problems. And they were charging me with what happened to you. Well, we had nothing to do with what you did. We just need you to communicate. My address is public, 1620 Appleton. My phone number, public, 410-669-8683. I am not that hard to catch up with.
All right, now
I'm retired.
Let me go back to the, did the commissioners have any questions? I know you've already asked questions, but do you have any further questions as a result of this latest source of information?
No questions.
No.
All right, folks, I'm ready for punishment. The problem, I understand, is difficult when you run a business like you have in the 1700 block of West North Avenue. I'm familiar with that area. I don't live too far from it myself. And there is a lot of trafficking and difficulties on North Avenue, up and down. I used to live at the end of North Avenue when I was raised as a boy in Baltimore. But you're responsible for your business.
Yes.
And you've already been given 1 3-day suspension. And while you seem to have cured that problem, this evidence that I now receive and believes that I believe you need another closure to try to wake you up. The next time, it may be for good, but this time, 1 month and $1,000 fine. How much time do you need to pay the fine?
30 days.
30
days.
30 days. And 30-day closure beginning immediately. Commissioners?
I concur. I'm a little troubled that things are spilling out into the community. That's a real concern. And it's not a good thing that people be made to be criticized or put upon for coming in to testify before the board when that's done by one of your employees. So we've got to get a handle on that as well. That is not good. I am, after sitting on this board for, I guess, 7 months now, I am beginning to get a sense that there might be some element of fear by licensees of some of the people in the community. That's not something that we can address, but maybe that's something that needs to be addressed separately. That you need to raise. If you are afraid of the people that are coming into your establishment and you feel that you can't follow the law because you're fearful of what will happen to you by your customers if you do, that's something that needs to be elevated to a level where it can be confirmed and dealt with. That's a side comment. It's just my sense of what's in part happening out there in the community.
Doc Cheatham is not responsible for the actions of this board, but you are responsible for the actions of your employees when you post someone and cast charges upon them. We make our own decision here. We don't need any help from Doc Cheatham, no more than to testify. We make the decisions. Send your employees to us, but not to someone who's trying to help the community. That's his job. And you should be doing the same thing because your business is located in that neighborhood. So be mindful. I concur.
You understand?
Yes. Can I ask one more?
Say.
Yep. I don't want to say, but since I took this business, it's just 5 months. So.
What do you say?
He's only been
He's
with
only
the,
been in business for 5 months.
Yes, I know.
It takes a lot of things.
To be honest with you, after the testimony I hear about the problems, I have to tell you that I know it's a difficult business, and maybe you shouldn't be in it, but that's your decision. But our job is to make sure that the licensed establishments like yours do not have a bad effect on the surrounding neighborhood. And you are responsible for the conduct of your establishment and everything that happens as a result of it. So you just have to decide between the two of you is whether you should even be in this business. But I'm telling you that if you come back again and I hear this kind of talk, dirt, disorder, drug dealing around the corner, people hanging out in front and all that sort of thing, you are going to be held responsible for it. I totally believe his testimony, and then I adopt it. All right, folks, we're adjourned until next week. Thank you.